If you've just joined us, welcome along to Q Clash 22 at Carrara on the Gold Coast. Quentin Holt, Michael Price and Port Adelaide coaches of past and present here. Lauren Arnell and Matthew Primus to bring you Gold Coast and Brisbane, the 22nd instalment of this derby. And of course, as is the case throughout the weekend, the Anzac observance is about to take place here. The team news is this: Malcolm Roses is out with a calf injury. Jai Farah's not playing, he's ill. So for the Suns, they've had to bring in two players from their emergencies list, Alex Davies and also Chris Burgess. Jeremy Sharp is the injury sub, while for Brisbane there are no changes. The sub is Jackson Pryor, with a big change coming at selection with live wire Kadeem Coleman coming back into the team after injuring his hamstring in the pre-season. Mitch Robinson not playing due to a calf injury. And outside of those late changes for the Suns, Connor Butterick is playing today after he injured his knee in round 2 of last season and hasn't played since then. So fantastic for one of the Queensland products to make his return to senior football in this highlight clash, a derby which has been dominated by the Lions, having won the last 6, but in fine conditions on this Sunday twilight affair at Carrara. Is this the opportunity for the Suns to perhaps change the narrative to spark up against their near rivals?
The Australian Football League, the Gold Coast Suns and the Brisbane Lions invite you to join the players, coaches and the umpires as we honour the Anzacs, all those men and women who gave their lives in service of their great countries. Our thoughts too are with those currently on active service, and we acknowledge all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who have served and are currently on active service as well. Please stand and remove your hats for the Anzac observance. We're joined today by the band of the 1st Regiment Royal Australian Artillery, led by Bandmaster Warrant Officer Class 1 Mick Beaton. Our bugler is Sergeant Paul McBurney, and our vocalist is musician Leisha Kingston Bull. And to join us on this occasion, we welcome RSL Queensland State President, Major General Stephen Day, DSC AM, to recite the ode, joined by the RSL Queensland CEO, Mr Robert Skoda, and Nerang RSL Sub-Branch Treasurer, Terry McDonald. Thank you, gents.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. Lest we forget.
Everyone, please remain standing for the New Zealand and Australian national anthems as performed by the band of the 1st Regiment Royal Australian Artillery. This year, the 1st Regiment is celebrating 150 years of Australian artillery in service to the nation.
God of nations, at thy feet, in the bonds of love we meet. Hear our voices, we entreat. God defend our free land. God Pacific's triple star, from the shafts of strife and war, make her praises heard afar. God defend New Zealand. Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea, our lands abound in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia
Alicia Kingston Bull with the New Zealand and Australian national anthems in the dwindling sunlight at Carrara on the Gold Coast. ABC Sports Grandstand, AFL about to bring you Q Clash 22 with the Gold Coast Suns trying to end a 6-game losing streak against their rivals from up the M1. If you have just joined us, Geelong too good for North Melbourne by 10 goals at Bellerive earlier on today, and to come of course this evening at the G, Richmond against Melbourne. Matthew Primus and Lauren Arnell, your experts to not only dissect but also prognosticate on the afternoon. Can the Suns stand up today? Matty, you've played in showdowns. Tell us what it's like when you're the team that is not expected to win. What can you do as a player, a leader, a coach to get inspired by this situation when you're in a derby?
Well, I think as a coach and as a leadership group, you realise that to an extent these games become a 50-50, so you have nothing to lose, and the form goes out the window a little bit, and even these teams have played some solid games over the last couple of years when the Suns have been underdogs. So, and I'd be going back to 2 weeks ago when we were here watching them play Carlton, who were red hot, and they knocked them over and made Carlton look second rate. So their pressure in that game was outstanding, and since then they've dropped off the face of the earth with their pressure. So if they do that against Brisbane, the score would all be ticking over for Brizzy. So I reckon that'd be Dewey's number one focus, and there's no better way to do it in an Anzac Day game to get the pressure and the intensity up in one of these games.
And Lauren, Brisbane 4-1. They've only had the slip up against Geelong, but you listen around the traps, there's still a lot that are willing to just find a little bit of a hiccup in what Brisbane's done so far. I know that you're not one that necessarily conforms to that argument, so give us your best impression of where the Lions are at after 5 weeks.
Oh, I think they're going as well as possible. I think the loss in Geelong will be burning a fair bit for the Lions guys. But I think for today, it's really just about them executing their game plan. And, you know, I think a pressure game like this, when you're up against the Suns in a Q clash, is perfect timing for them. And I'd expect them, Matty, to be extending, I guess, looking in that high ball area with the tools. I think having Oscar McInerney and Fort, it's a big day for Jared Witts, how he covers those two guys. And I'm expecting whichever ruck it is, pushing forward pretty hard and forcing Witts to cover that defensive ground.
Yeah, put some work into him, and as you say, their marking ability, they're number one for marking the ball inside 450 Brisbane. So if the Suns don't bring some heat, there's going to be a lot of marking. That's their talls and smalls are marking the ball everywhere. And
Joe Danaher's second in the league, equals second for goals so far this year. He's absolutely flying, and you know he can kick him from pretty much anywhere. So him alongside McStay, and then one of those talls pushing forward. We know how dynamic the small forwards are, Q, for the Lions. And Lick McCarthy, 100 games for someone who's worked so incredibly hard and had so many setbacks. That's something else for us to celebrate today.
I reckon it's another reset of the acid on this joint.
Yep, no doubt.
What does it mean? What does it mean for Gold Coast? What does it mean for this group? So often this game is played up against another in the competition. Here is a scene where the competition is watching, waiting for the two big feature Anzac games. Can the Suns actually change the narrative this afternoon?
Umpire Simon Meredith bangs it down in the middle of Carrara. McInerney versus Witts. I'll give that one to McInerney, but it splays out right. Miller picks it up. He's immediately tackled. Lets loose the ball to Rowell. It was an illegal loosening of the ball, and it is going to be a free kick to Brisbane. Lockie Neal will take it just short of the centre circles. He's got a leader straight in the corridor. Finds him. McStay. He's just wheeling around onto the left foot now. It's a nice looking drop punt. It was looking for Cameron, didn't quite find him. Gold Coast have got some numbers in defence. It's slapped into the corridor dangerously. Swallow goes back to get it. Tackled as he gets the handball away. Anderson stuck under the ball and tackled by Lyons again. It's going to be a ball up, 40 out.
And the crowd's really built up late. Zane Bojak down on the boundary. Welcome to you.
Yeah, great atmosphere, as it always is for Q-Class Q. It is overcast and there is a bit of a film of water on the surface. We have had a few spits before this game, Q.
McInerney tapping down. McCarthy wrapped up immediately by the tackle there of Rowell, and the ball still 50 from goal as Witts takes clean possession for Gold Coast from that secondary ball up. Hand pass ineffective. On the hands and knees, chance for Cameron of Brisbane. Got it out to Rich. Tumbling kick inside 50. Punched away from McStay. Danaher rove swivels. Got it on his boot. And he has rolled it through for a goal. Joe Danaher flirting with the large upright to his left, but he just squeezed it through for the first goal of the game, 90 seconds in. And that's goal 17 of the season for Joe Danaher as the Lions strike first at Carrara.
Well, we did just say Joe Danaher can kick him from everywhere, and that was probably more of a small forward's little snap around the body, and an exceptional finish for him. I'm interested in the fact that the Suns have already dropped one spare. I think it could be Budrick, boys. I'll get you to confirm that for me. But having that spare in front of Danaher, but Danaher still winning the contest and managing to kick that goal, it's an exceptional start for the Lions.
And you can stay in touch with us wherever you are on the SMS to send a message 0437 774 774 is the number. That's 0437 774 774. Please send us your name and where you're texting from.
Back into the middle. Jared Witts for the Gold Coast slaps it forward into the path of Rowell. Can't quite collect it. Neal got collected without the ball. It spills forward. McStay presents, handball back to Jared Lyons, tumbles it inside 50, but as he does so very often for the Gold Coast Suns, Sam Collins with a defending and relieving mark. He flares the ball out wide to right half back and finds Charlie Ballard.
If you took a picture of that matchup, Collins versus Danaher, you'd think they don't play in red and white maroon V jumpers in the 70s. You look at the moustaches and hairdos. Like they look like two old 70s players.
They look like footy cards.
Kick goes down to the wing in a pack. Rich does the raving for Brisbane. Hand pass indiscriminate, stolen by Casbolt of the Suns. He hands it off to Rowell on the wing. Gets onto his left boot to kick the Suns towards 50. Starcevic left his man. Couldn't mark for Brisbane. Holman roves for the Suns. Kicks to the pocket. Races on. And Ainsworth can't get there before the chevron rolls out of play. We'll see a boundary throw in the right forward pocket for Gold Coast. They're attacking the southern end in this first term. There's been some patchy showers around. High cloud though at the moment, and a pretty good house building by local standards for this derby. McInerney to the front of the right contest for Brisbane in the back pocket. Hands it to Starcevic. He's hassled off it by Rowell. Picked up though by McCluggage of Brisbane. Handed it off there to Berry. Out the back the hands go to Lyons. From the back pocket he kicks Brisbane out of defence to a pack on the wing. It's coming back in. Won by Anderson of Gold Coast.
He gets the handball back to Weller. From a standing start, he tumbles it towards right half forward. It beats everybody over the boundary line for a throw in front of the small scoreboard, which shows the Lions leading by a straight goal after nearly 4 minutes of the first quarter. On Grandstand AFL, Michael Price, Quentin Hull with your experts Lauren Arnell and Matthew Primus. The throw in right across the arc. Witts muscles his way to the front, takes the ball on the full, tackled by McInerney, still gets a tumbling kick inside 50, ground level contest. Ainsworth ran over the top of the ball, several players stuck over the top of it. The umpire circles, will have a ball up 30 metres out directly in front of the Gold Coast goal.
Most of the western side of the ground in shade. It's a pretty good afternoon for footy, must be said. Rowell with the road for Gold Coast. Hand pass to Holman running towards the pocket. Non-preferred right boot. Couldn't hook it back enough. And the ex-Blues kicked it out of bounds on the full. So it will be a free kick for Brisbane in the left back pocket. Starcevic to take it. The Lions wearing their white with the old Bears chevron in maroon with the gold line on their chest. Long kick to half-back. Neal plays the role of spoiler in that pack and punches it out of play. Yeah, it's almost like the old Brisbane strip. Zane on the boundary.
Yeah, been a lot of talk about Matt Rowell's involvement in recent weeks. He's been heavily involved already, Q. Maybe he's getting ready for a Marcus Ashcroft medal.
There you go. The throw in front of the interchange gates. McInerney promotes it forward. It's hard against the boundary line. And just allowing it to tumble over was Will Powell and get a throw in right on the commentary wing in front of us in the grandstand commentary box.
Jared Lyons won both of those medals, which is awarded to the player of the match in the Q Clash. And of course, a former Gold Coast Sun. Shallow boundary throw in. McInerney didn't really time his fist, and the Suns will get the clearance. Miller on the wing for the Suns. Kicks it to half forward. Andrews is placed in front of Chol and takes a mark. Then Chol gets dumped by Gardner in the periphery. Ump lets it go, and Andrews just calmly slots it to Kitty Coleman. Welcome back to Kadeen Coleman, having hurt his hamstring in the pre-season. He's taken that uncontested mark in the left back pocket. Lions by a goal early on. Coleman long down the line to the wing. A 2-on-2 contest. Half a chance for Witts, couldn't mark. Jared Berry comes through to tow it off the deck for Brisbane. Gains 20 metres for his team. Out of play. Boundary throw in, just attacking side of the wing for the Lions.
The Suns have been the third best team in the comp with ball spending time in their front half, and they've done it pretty well here early in this game, but haven't been able to hit the scoreboard. You can see Brisbane are just trying to surge it out of that area to get it away from their attacking zone.
In front of the commentary box here, ABC Sport, throw in at ground level. Anderson promotes it forward by foot about 30 metres. Tumbling kick. Harris Andrews in front of Chol. As it Chol escorts him across the boundary line, much to the joy of the Carrara crowd, and we'll get another throw in. It's a tight start. The Lions leading by one straight goal. We've played nearly 7 minutes of the first quarter here on ABC Sport.
10-goal win for the Cats down in Tassie as McInerney gets a clean tap, but rode by Weller of the Suns back part of the pack there for Gold Coast. Hands it to Anderson, tried to get back to Weller, pressured off it by Bailey. Picked up by McCluggage of Brisbane. Kick towards the forward line. Collins will get a free kick. Danaher got in his back and the defender was well positioned in front. And Collins wins the kick for the Suns, just forward of the right back pocket. Kicks it long back to the half back. Flank. Starcevic got in front of Rankin to take the mark for Brisbane. And another inside 50 coming up for the Lions. Brandon Starcevic nurses it to the pocket looking for 100. Gamer McCarthy. It's punched away from him and out of play.
Both key backs have started really well. Andrews front position a few times when Choi, and down here Collins has done a couple of areas where he's been in front of Danaher and marked some balls. So good start by both key defenders.
Yeah, Collins was a dominant figure in their win over Carlton a couple of weeks back here. Witts got it down, but it was sharked by McLuggage. He got it away illegally, though. The tackle was applied by Matt Rowell. He'll get the free kick for the Gold Coast Suns. He's back to his defensive goal, 40 metres out. He tries a chip kick, dangerous, but finds his good mate Noah Anderson, 70 from his own goal at right half back. Lions have set up nicely in front of him, not a lot of movement. So Anderson wants to play on and go long down the line. McInerney had the sit. It was Casbolt who got the ball away from him at the back of the pack. Andrews just cool, calm and collected. Gets it back to Kitty Coleman inside defensive 50.
Kicked that 25 metres backwards to get it to Coleman. He kicks to the wing precisely for McCluggage and takes the mark. Infield on the chip to Rayner. Still just forward of left half back Cameron Rayner. Don't mention the pre-season of last year at this ground, Cam Rayner. He's turned over the kick. He's kicked it to Witts.
Suns are doing a really, really good job of slowing the Lions' transition off half back. Their defensive pressure through the middle of the ground. Lions haven't been able to force that one through the middle.
Witts went to Casbolt. He marked, kicked towards Burgess at half forward, punched out of play. Lauren Arnell and Matt Primus, your experts here on Grandstand AFL. There's a rainbow being cast out among the Surfers Paradise skyline on this beautiful scene. 9 minutes played, a goal to Danaher. That's the only score.
Is that fair dinkum? Is it a hologram from Surfers Paradise? It's kicked inside 50. Now in front of the goal square, Starcevic did beautifully in traffic to pick it up, get it out to Rayner, chain of handballs, McLuggage to Berry, now on the left foot looking for Bailey. Butterick did well to spoil that attempt. Now the ball's loose, there's been a free kick pulled. It's a high contact, I think it'll go back to Berry. It was Tuke Miller with the loose arm, was it, Lauren Arnell?
Yeah, and I think the Suns would be all right with giving away free kicks like that. Really contested, good hot pressure so far.
Into the corridor, Coleman onto the run of Zorko. Long kick inside 50. Oh, it was McStay with the hands in the back, but at ground level, McCarthy. Oh, he juggled it beautifully to himself. Handball gave the pressure, transferred it to Lockie Neal. He surprisingly kept it in play. Now the ball's still loose on the ground. Oleg Markov gets involved for the Gold Coast. Now it's a free kick off play. It'll be Link McCarthy in his 100th game. Crowd don't like it, Q.
Well, Miller got over his shoulder. I don't know what they're complaining about. Miller was just probably trying to show a bit of aggression in this game. But just as the ball evaded McCarthy, who kicks it to full forward. And a big pack. McInerney had a piece, couldn't mark. Bailey roves, steadies, snaps and kicks Brisbane second. And again, Zach Bailey showing his class, getting to the front of the pack. Hit the ball so hard, he had time for a fumble and then steady. And he kicks Brisbane's second goal. 2 straight, Suns yet to score. We've played 10.5 minutes.
It was elite crumbing by Zach Bailey, and he's done some good pressure work down there early in that front forward 50. But Oscar McInerney, Matty, just his predictability and going up and providing that ground ball for Bailey made his job really easy.
Yeah, he's pushing really hard, as you mentioned pre-game, Lauren. He's pushing really hard on Witts forward, and Danaher did a nice block to make sure the ball came front and centre. And then, as you said, Q, just a beautiful crumb. Under some good pressure, was able to snag it through, and they look very dangerous. Even though they're going inside 53 times, they're looking dangerous every time.
That's Matty Primus and Lauren Arnell are your experts here on ABC Sport. We're back into the middle of Carrara. The Lions leading by 2 straight goals after 11 of the first quarter. McInerney versus Chol in the ruck for the Gold Coast. It comes to the feet. It was of Starcevic, who's actually in the middle. He towed it forward, and now it's inside 50 for Brisbane. Spoiled away from Bailey, but he's going to butter up at ground level. Butterick actually got the ball for the Gold Coast. He's turned it over, though. Bailey picks it up, snaps again. He's done 2 in a row. Zach Bailey. Out of nowhere, the Lions have scored their third, 3 straight 18. The Gold Coast yet to score after 12 of the first quarter, Lauren Arnell.
Well, fast exits out of a centre bounce like that are very, very hard to defend, and the Gold Coast Suns defenders just found wanting. The pressure from McCarthy to create the opportunity for Zach Bailey was fantastic, but another very classy finish, and Bailey just adding to his resume as a goal-kicking mid/quick forward.
And the games they've done here the last few years, the centre bounce dominance of Brisbane is what's put the Suns under the pump and dominated them. And so far they look pretty dangerous out of the centre bounce. Not clean and beautiful, but just pressured ball coming outside, getting deep inside 50 is a dangerous area for the Suns at the moment.
Lions with the jump. Bailey now has 12 goals for the season, continuing to frank his reputation as one of The really good players in the competition in that role. Centre bounce. Charles jumped into Fort and won the clean possession for the Suns. He runs away, the ex-Tiger, kicking to the pocket. Davies is there, pitches in front of he. Casbolt arrives to get a handle on it, but close to the line, out of play. And a boundary throw in. So Alex Davies is playing, so too is Chris Burgess, because Malcolm Rosas and Jai Farah both late omissions for the Suns. Left forward pocket at the southern end for Gold Coast with this throw in. Ruckman share it, rode by Rankin though of the Suns. Hampers to Fiorini, dumped by Coleman. Couldn't get his boot to ball. Upset fair play. Fiorini has another go. Starcevic wraps him up. Loose hand pass goes towards the boundary line. It stays in. Anderson picks up, snaps hopefully to the top of the goal mouth. Chance for Burgess, couldn't mark. Brilliantly rode by Holman, and he kicks a much needed goal for the locals on his non-preferred right. And didn't Gold Coast need that? Brisbane 3 straight, Gold Coast 1 straight, 13 and a half played.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Nick Holman's always been celebrated in this Gold Coast Suns team as the grunt guy. That was not a grunt goal. That was super classy and at least as good as Zach Bailey's previous two. The crumb and the timing of it, and Q, you said on his opposite leg, that was super classy, Matt.
It certainly was, and he is loved. He's adored by how hard he attacks the ball inside the club and by the coaches and players. And Chol was very impressive there. The first centre bounce, he slaughtered his opponent with his knee up nice and high in the middle of the ground, and then was able to follow up with the next stoppage there. So a bit of energy from him. He's probably enjoying getting away from Harris Andrews down forward.
Someone get Matty a tissue. You can just see he's salivating there. What was that? Slaughtered him with the knee in the ruck contest, Matty?
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah.
Right
in the midriff.
Might ask you about that knee-to-knee contact, Darcy versus Pitnet last night too. Back into the middle of Carrara though. McLuggage tackled without the ball, says the umpire. Will get a free kick. Wheels around into the bullseyes and kicks straight down the middle inside 50. McStay pushing the back surely. No.
Umpire.
No. No. I'll put my hands up. I'll put them down. It was McStay who took the mark. I called the push. I should have called the mark.
Umpire was in an excellent position to see whatever was going on, so it'd be good to watch the replay, but umpire perfectly positioned to see that marking contest.
He's paid to umpire, I'm paid to call the footy. McStay marked the ball 30 metres out, directly in front, Dan McStay. 6-4 for the year, make that 7-4. And the Lions get their fourth straight. 4 straight 24. The Suns 1 straight 6 after 15 minutes of the first quarter. ABC Sport, Grandstand AFL, Michael Price, Quentin Hull with your experts, Matthew Primus and Lauren Arnell.
We'll have a look at the replay shortly, but once again, even though it was a free kick, it was a win out of the centre bounce, nice and deep, and put the Suns' backs under pressure while we look at the replay here.
I'm not going to give you 50 for bagging the umps. That's our job.
Yep.
To call the game as we see it. Was that a free kick or not?
That was a free kick.
There you go.
Easy hands.
Okay.
One thing that's playing in the Lions' favour is clearances are even 8-all, but centre clearances 4-1 for Brisbane. And you can see the method of play today is going to be very direct, long, and to those tall forwards.
So McStay makes it 4 straight to 1 straight. Brisbane leading by 3 goals at Carrara. Centre bounce, Witts taps down for Rowell of Gold Coast. He's tackled. Hand pass, had to be ferreted for by Swallow. Got it to Powell, under pressure to Fiorini eventually. And a rush kick to half forward for the Suns. Came off the knee of Gardner, the advancing Lions defender. Ricocheted to Neal. He's tackled by Fiorini at the edge of the centre square and locked up for a ball up.
Just where the shadows and the sunlight meet on the outer side, the Nerang River wing. Ball picked up there by Calamachi, the former Sun. He lets loose the ball now. It is towed off the ground to half forward. Picked up by Harris Andrews, dumped into the ground by Davies for the Gold Coast. And the ball stuck underneath the pair of them. We'll get a ball up right on the arc of 50 at left half forward for the Suns.
The SMS thanks to Henry from Melbourne, who texts just a quick message to wish Lauren Arnell the best coaching port. Always excellent insight on the ABC. Thank you, Henry. She's smiling here. We're seeing a secondary stoppage, by the way.
That's lovely. Thank you, Henry.
You can get in touch on 0437 774 774. Secondary ball up, attacking 50 for Gold Coast. Might get a third ball up here as Miller's all over the top of Rayner, and indeed no extraction. It was Archie who was underneath all of that, such as the squashing nature of that tackle. Fort tries to tap down for Brisbane. Rowell extricates though for Gold Coast. Hand pass to Markov, under pressure, an up and under kick is spiked clear by the right fist of Rayner and then volleyed off the boot of Ballard of Gold Coast back to the pocket into the chest of Neal, who marks for Brisbane in defence. Chips it short to right half back and Bailey takes the grab.
To Zach Bailey with a couple of goals under his belt already in that dappled sunshine at right half back. Long kick towards the wing, off hands, front and square was Rowell, tackled off it by McCarthy. Now Butterick, he's knocked off the ball as well, picked up by Swallow. Handball now to Holman, now on to Ainsworth, wheels around right foot towards the goal square, bouncing ball, and Marcus Adams had it easily covered in front of Casbolt. Takes it over the boundary line, throw in just beside the left point post for the Gold Coast.
It's a decent roll up here. There's a good field. Generally, the Lions fans don't like coming down the M1. They're just finicky like that, but maybe long weekend. Team going well. They've made the trip today. Boundary throw in. Fort roves the ruck contest to kick Brisbane towards half back. To a pack met by Gold Coast Fiorini. Hands it there to Holman. Hands it to Rowell. He's tackled immediately. And the ball dies at the foot of that pack. And the ump's going to play holding the ball against Rowell, and Lohman is going to get the free kick, the 18-year-old second gamer. Kai Lohman made his debut against the Pies at the start of Easter round. Kicks it out to the Nerang River wing. That is a poor kick, and it's marked by Collins of Gold Coast, uncontested, just forward of the wing on the Nerang River side. 19 minutes first term Lions, 4 straight, Suns 1 straight.
Collins with a long right foot inside 50. Coleman had it covered, then got clattered into by Levi Casbolt. It's an advantage free kick to Brisbane. Now kick to the wing. Danaher in front. Handball to the run of Kai Lohman. The youngster has a bounce. Gets onto the logo. Manfully chased by Markov. Got a hand to him. Oh, it pushed him in the back. Now Markov is dead set. Burnt the ground chasing the young man. Got his hands to the jumper. And he has lost the ball. It's a free kick to Brisbane. I don't agree with that one either. But let's move on with play. Just in front of the wing. Kai Lohman. Nice drop, punt into the path of Danaher. Gold Coast with the numbers. Butterick bumped off the ball. Picked up there by Rayner. Struggled to his feet and kicked him. Absolute beauty. He muscled his way that pack. The crowd do not like it in the lead up. But that is 5 goals straight to the Brisbane Lions. 5 straight 30. The Suns 1 straight. 20 minutes gone first quarter. Lauren Arnell, Matty Primus, what's going on here?
Just a great ground ball by Rayner there. That was 50-50. He just got low, put his backside and his thighs into it. And we're watching this replay here. And I know you weren't happy there, Cube. I reckon.
Well, as a footy fan, we've just seen the perfect element of what pushing the back is there for.
Yes.
If a key forward uses it to advantage, give the ticky touchwood. If a desperate runner does his best to offset someone who's in front of him, that they've got the right parts of the rule the wrong way around.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Lauren? Or are you in coach mode already? And can't
She's
say
in coach
anything?
mode.
I thought it was honestly, I thought it was an exceptional chase from Markov, but I do hope the Rayner goal is on the highlight reel.
It was a great goal.
That was an outstanding finish from Cam Rayner.
She is in coach mode, deflecting any negatives to go with a positive.
There it goes. We're back into the middle queue. Anderson tumbles at the centre half forward. Now we're onto the arc. Gold Coast with a chance here. No, Brisbane have got it covered. Jared Lyons, handball back to the runner Starcevic. Looking for McCarthy. And it was a 2-on-1. The Gold Coast had one at Ballard, got through, but McCarthy smothered the ball. Did beautifully against the 2 Gold Coast Suns in Willer and Ballard. Took the ball over the boundary line in front of us.
I was having a coffee with Marcus Ashcroft at the Melbourne airport this morning. I asked him, Jared Lyons win 3 in a row, and he gave me nothing, but he started well, Jared Lyons, so far this afternoon.
Guess what? He's got no sight. I have. Got to vote in the choppers today. Here we go. On the wing, it's Andrews for Brisbane. Hand pass there to Gardner. A high kick. Back towards halfway. Lohman flies. Almost took the mark. The second gamer couldn't, though. Rode by Butterick of Gold Coast. Hands to Ellis. He hands it off to Rowell. Kick around the wing is marked by Ainsworth. He kicks the Suns wide to the half-forward flank. Gardner in front. Did enough to nudge his opponent under the ball. Ball stayed in, apparently. Davies picks it up. Gives it to Rankin, who tries an outside of the boot snap. Doesn't get it on goal. It's marked in the opposite pocket by Archie. Loz was holding it. Sorry, it's 50 against you. Loz, you held your hands up.
Look,
That's good. That was out by a foot.
Yeah, and the boundary ump was shielded.
Yeah, he was. There's probably 3 or 4 players in front of him, so he just couldn't see it.
It was near zone. We'll get to him in a moment because Swallows marked Brisbane's exiting kick. Another entry coming up for the Gold Coast towards full forward. Knuckled away by Andrews. Over the boundary line, throw in. Zane.
Yeah, can I just say that Isaac Rankin's kick was just as bad as the decision. It was clearly out. I could also tell you guys that those clouds are getting darker and we have got a bit of rain at the moment.
Yeah, we've had a little bit of spitting rain throughout southeast Queensland today, so it will provide for a slippery surface later on. Throw in, left forward pocket for the Suns. They're fighting on, even though the scoreboard is way out of their reach at the moment. There's been a holding the ball decision. It's going to go to the Gold Coast. The ball was at ground level. It was Matt Rao who laid the tackle. Umpire was very quick on that. So Rao will get a free kick, 35 metres out, 45-degree angle to the left. Gold Coast Suns desperately needing the goal.
Suns fans will be satisfied with that. Currently the free kick count 2-7 in the Lions' favour. 9
disposals to Matt Rao. Couple of tackles as well. That was an effective one. From 35, he pulls it a little to the left. It is a behind when they desperately needed a goal. 5 straight, 30 to the Lions, 1-1-7. The Suns, 23 points the margin after 23 of the first term.
Daniel Rich playing his 18th Q Clash, the second most for anyone. He walks out of the square, booms it beyond centre half back to the middle of the ground. Contest there between Butterick and a Lion who stayed down, Archie. Picked up by Ainsworth, kicked back inside 50 for the Suns to Holman. And Holman takes the mark 40 metres out as the ex-Sun Archie gets up a little gingerly, but he's okay. And Holman now from straight in front has a chance to kick his and Gold Coast's second goal.
Seventh touch for Nick Holman as well. He said he was a generator of energy, Lauren.
He's fifth here at the Gold Coast. No angle to speak of. Leans back. Nice left foot finish. He's got a couple. The Suns are 2-1, trailing Brisbane's 5 straight. The Lions by 17 points, 24 minutes into Q Clash 22. Lauren Arnell, Matt Primus.
Well, a good reward for the Suns. They've been cracking in. They've defended really well. They've slowed down Brisbane's ball movement. Ball spent a fair bit of time in the Suns forward line, and they got some reward there after a couple of inside 50s that lacked composure. That was a nice kick from Ainsworth to Holman, and Holman's finished off a good start in the first quarter for him.
It is a good start, 6 disposals and 2 goals. Sorry, make that 7 disposals, 2 goals. And Matt Rowell, another good starter, the 10 for him so far, despite missing that relatively easy shot at goal previously.
So we're back into the middle of Carrara. I suppose the Suns almost completely behind the grandstands now. Just a patch at the southern end in front of the scoreboard.
And ponchos going on.
Yeah, and that patch means there's rain coming. There's a little bit of drizzle in and around the area as the ball's bounced in the middle. Jared Lyons picks it up, and that is disposal number 6 for him in the first quarter towards left half forward. Swallow, that did beautifully. Handball back to Powell. Powell to the wing. Holman, good contest against he and Zorko. Holman ended up winning out against 3 players at ground level. Handball forward to Butterick, now back to Rowell. He kicks it to half forward. Anderson did well from the position he was in. That was behind Adams, who's about 110 kilos. Now the ball spills towards the boundary line off the hands. Could have been deliberate from Brandon Starcevich, according to the crowd, but no, it'll be a throw in.
That would have been a brave call, since he hand passed it between 2 of his teammates.
You never know anymore, Q. You never know.
Boundary throw in between wing and right half forward for Gold Coast. It's shallow. Witts tries to knuckle it forward, does, but straight to Starcevich. Couldn't pick up the slippery ball. Kicked it off the deck to half forward. Contest. Lohman there. Couldn't pick up for Brisbane. Applies a tackle to dislodge it though from Collins. Still on the ground. Danaher battling away there with Powell. He couldn't pick up, Lohman did, but turns over his handball to Swallow of the Suns. Kick back to the wing, the ruckman are there as McInerney spoils it away from Witts, and Matty Primus has a chuckle in the background out of play.
Very graceful, wasn't it?
Oh, that was a thing of beauty, Matthew.
Like 2 baby giraffes.
Paid good money to see that.
Your fellow union members like the Australian Ballet on the wing here at Carrara.
Oh, the throw in. Oh, it comes off the hands of Witts down to Jared Lyons, and he's tackled again by Witts. Ball stuck underneath him. Now we're going to get a little bit more of this type of play because it is slippery, isn't it, Loz? The yellow ball especially.
That's right. We're watching the crowd just move slowly towards some undercover, but not sure how long the rain will stick around.
So Anderson from the back of that ruck contest, right on the commentary wing. It comes off his hands now. Jared Lyons measures a pass. Sticky fingers from Dan McStay on the lead. 75 metres out. He wants to play on. He's got the handball of Lyons, who wheels back in onto the right foot. Into the pocket. Front of the pack was Fort. Roving front and centre. Lohman curls it around. The young man just misses it to the left. Great bit of roving. Just couldn't apply that finish. It is 5-1-31 to Brisbane, 2-1-13 to the Suns.
And the beauty of being at the ground, you see the 3-on-3 deep, and then the way the Lions leave that gap for the advancing small forward, Loz and Matty, we'll get you to chat about that a bit further as the Suns exit from that behind over the boundary line for a throw-in just beyond the half-back flank. It's been a couple of times now. Now, the forwards are deep, Lauren, and then they leave that space. They take time for the bombed entry as long as there's space for the small forwards to run into.
Yeah, and that's all around the timing of the smaller players when they arrive at the contest. It's been exceptional from the Lions so far.
Throw in. Rankin roves the pack, nudged off it by Jared Berry. He slips over, though, picks himself up and kicks Brisbane to half forward. Powell takes the mark, though, for the Suns. Read the drop better than his opponent, Bailey. So Will Powell at right half back. Slices a pass upfield to Miller. Touk Miller, a two-time Marcus Ashcroft medal winner. Chips backwards, and the switch is on. Ballard at right half back. He kicks to Collins, and now out to left half back for Weller, who marks it on the Nerang River side of the ground. 5-1 to 2-1 Brisbane by 3 goals.
Weller up the Nerang River wing. That's a beautiful lead to Burgess, and the handball back. Butterick kicks it to left half forward. Nicely taken there by Anderson. He wheels around right foot from 50 and pulls it left. He pulled the trigger, just not accurately. So 5-1 plays 2-2. It's now 17-point margin in favour of Brisbane late in the first quarter.
And the drizzling rain still coming down here as Brandon Starcevic runs out of the goal mouth towards the left back pocket and then hits his kick, slews it off the side of the boot. Awkward bounce for Jared Berry. Had it, lost it, under the pressure of Powell. Play on, picked up by Bailey of Brisbane. Hand passes infield to McCluggage. Hand pass was hopeful, looking for Neal, turned over, didn't get to him. Stolen by Miller, runs to 50, deep kick from Miller. Oh, a great, almost defender's mark to Starcevic. He couldn't mark it, and then Rankin kicked it into the post. It ricocheted back to him. He thought he could play on, but no. And now there's going to be a score review to make sure that did hit the post, I think.
I don't think it did, Q. I think it came off his shin.
Well, I was wondering, why is he playing on if it's bounced back to him from the post?
I think the Brisbane guy's hand was over the line and knocked it back.
So Marcus Adams, he didn't kick it into the post. He kicked it into the smothering hands of Adams, and it then hit the post. Well, that's a point.
Or was it over the line?
Well, if it's a post, it doesn't matter. It's a point.
He's touched that before the line.
Yeah.
Marcus Adams has dived on that and touched it just prior to the line.
Before the whole ball went over the line.
Correct. But what do I know, Q?
Today, we wouldn't know at the moment with a few of the decisions early on in this first quarter.
Oh, look, they're under enough pressure.
Incomplete. So many. Looking at these angles, we can see the ball is touched into the goalpost before crossing the back of the goal line. Decision on the scoreboard.
Rush behind. Brisbane 5-1-31, Gold Coast 2-3-15. 31 minutes first term.
About 2 minutes left of this first term. Now the umpire's having a bit of a word to Dane Zorko, who takes off from fullback now. Only his second touch for the day. A long kick over the back of the pack. Bailey roved it beautifully. Handball to Joe Danaher a long way down the ground. He tumbles an intelligent kick towards half forward. It was where Lemons and Ballard conspired to muck it up. It was a 2-on-1. Now Ballard's gone down. He's clutching that left ankle. No, it was just a tweak. But he was really...
quick little roll of the ankle, I think, because he's up and running it out.
He just writhed in pain there very quickly, but bounced straight up. Throw in. Witts versus McInerney. McInerney slaps it back towards goal. Picked up by Touk Miller. Handball now to Swallow. Tumbling kick towards the wing. In front, Adams versus Casbolt. Adams with the bulk of Casbolt. That's about 230 kilos chasing a Sharon across the boundary line in front of us. We'll get a throw in.
A fair bit of meat in that contest, that's for sure. And Big Levi's been good with the injury to King. Very important pick up for the Suns. Boundary throw in on the wing. Rode by Starcevic. He ran into Witts, took him on. Oh, high contact going low.
Bit of a duck too, Q.
He took him on.
Yeah,
he took him on.
Lyons who's getting the free kick on the wing. He kicks towards half forward. McInerney takes a chest mark.
Yeah, Witts got stuck on the mark there, and McInerney pushed forward and had a mismatch and took a nice mark.
Probably too far out for the big O. So he sets it up to the pocket, and half a chance for McStay. Got a knuckle out of play. Boundary throw in. Zane on the boundary.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk in the NRL about teams higher on the ladder getting decisions go their way, Q. I think we're seeing it here today in the AFL.
That's 50 for you too, Zane.
Yeah, 50. Hands up. Throw in, left forward pocket. Swallow just tapped it back into the corridor. It's dangerous because Bailey's there. Handball to Ainsworth. Handball to Lyons, and Ainsworth tackles him. Gold Coast free kick for an illegal disposal. That's a good tackle and well rewarded. So Ainsworth plays on, goes over to Fiorini at left halfback.
Is this going to take a moment or two inside the last minute of this first quarter? Brisbane led 5-1. Suns kicking last goal of the game through Nick Holman, who's got a couple. Long kick to the wing and a juggling mark taken by Burgess. It was a late in for the Suns with Roses and Farah the late outs. Davies also playing, coming in late. Burgess kicks to half forward. Chol there with Andrews. He just protected the drop zone out the back. It rumbles to the pocket, picked up by Fiorini. Hand pass in field. In fact, high contact. High contact. It was Ainsworth, in fact, not Fiorini in that contest, who got taken high, so he will get a free kick. And by the time he picks himself up and gets the Sharon, the siren may have sounded for quarter time. So this is an important kick for Ben Ainsworth. I wonder if he'll get that just added moment of tension. 5, 4, 3, 2. Yep, we'll get the siren. So this is an after the siren kick to narrow the margin to 10 points at quarter time. Just a little pregnant pause of importance on this set shot for Ben Ainsworth. 10 in from the boundary, 25 out in the left forward pocket. His right boot is across the face. Lucky to score a point. Put all the air into that. And what did we get? It was just a point. It was just a point.
Good point, OQ.
Brisbane 5-1, 31. Gold Coast 2-4, 16. Bailey has 2 goals. Danaher, McStay and Rayner, the other goal kickers for Brisbane. For Gold Coast, Holman has both goals. Earlier today, Jeremy Cameron kicked 7 as Geelong beat North Melbourne by 10 at Bellerive Oval. The Cats 17-19, 121 over North's 9-7-61. In the NRL earlier today, Newcastle defeated Parramatta by 39 points to 2. And currently, in the game between Penrith and Canberra, getting close to half-time, the Panthers 12 lead the Raiders 6. So quarter time here at Q Clash 22. It's the Lions 5-1-31 over the Suns 2-4-16. Matt Primus and Lauren Arnell will tell you more in just a moment. This is ABC Sport and we are Grandstand AFL.
Oh, hi, Virginia. Thanks for taking my call. I actually had to pull over when I was listening to you.
Virginia Trioli.
Do you get vengeful?
No, but I don't forget.
And you don't forgive?
I kind of rip things out of the address book every now and then. Weekday mornings from 8:30.
There's confusion at the centre of it.
That's absolutely right.
We need you in. We will take calls from everyone. Let's try and find out the clear differences in order to really get down to the nitty-gritty of it. Shall we do that?
Let's do it.
Virginia Trioli. Weekday mornings from 8:30 on ABC Radio Melbourne.
The 2022 AFL Premiership Season.
Grandstand AFL. On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Rich tumbling kick inside 50, punched away from McStay. Danaher roved, swivels, got it on his boot, and he has rolled it through for a goal. Big pack. McInerney had a piece, couldn't mark. Bailey roves, steadies, snaps and kicks Brisbane second.
Spoiled away from Bailey, but he's going to butter up at ground level. Butterick actually got the ball for the Gold Coast. He's turned it over though. Bailey picks it up, snaps again. 2 in a row. Zach Bailey.
Anderson picks up, snaps hopefully to the top of the goal mouth. Chance for Burgess, couldn't mark. Brilliantly roved by Holman, and he kicks a much needed goal for the locals. Picked up by Ainsworth, kicked back inside 50 for the Suns to Holman. And Holman takes the mark 40 metres out, leans back. Nice left foot finish He's got a couple.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
What a beautiful scene at Carrara on the Gold Coast as the sun is setting on this long weekend Sunday. We were a quarter into Q Clash 22 and Brisbane lead Gold Coast by 15 points. Quentin Hull and Michael Price calling the action. Zane Bojack keeping our eyes close to the action on the benches. Lauren Arnell and Matt Primus, your experts. And your messages, as ever, always welcome on 0437 774 774. That's 0437 774 774. Hello to Dean from Tassie, who's nice quip on the text. First and foremost, congrats to Coach Arnell. Will Q be taking a quick 5-minute break at halftime to cool off before he gets a 54%? See, the beauty thing, as we have always done, Dean, we will still, as ever, just call it as we see it. How did you see it in the first half, first quarter, our learned experts?
Pretty even, the contest-wise and through the middle of the ground. And probably the thing that stood out was the efficiency of Brisbane when they went inside 50. They had 12 inside 50s, but were able to hit the scoreboard pretty accurately, and they looked a lot more dangerous than the Suns. Suns are working pretty hard for their inside 50s. But I reckon Brisbane threw their best couple of punches early on, and the Suns were able to absorb it and counter-attack it and then get some ball inside their 50. And if Ainsworth had to kick that goal then, they would have just gone down by 10 points into that first quarter break. But just Brisbane's efficiency in their front 50 I think was the telling part of that game. So if the Suns can tighten up there, a bit more pressure, stop leaking out of the centre bounce, they're certainly in this game. And
text here from Mike, who's in block 228 here at the game. Guys, I'll take 350-metre penalties for defence. Suns are getting robbed. Good on you, Mike. Good to know that we've still got some people who bring their wireless to the footy in these modern age of the phones and delays and all that type of stuff. But good on you, Mike. 0437 774 774.
I think it was a pretty even quarter, but I think the Lions really did dominate the first 20 minutes. In the last 10 minutes, it was all the Suns. It's just they'd be disappointed, I think, guys, that they didn't capitalise on those easy opportunities. So particularly Ainsworth and the last one, Rowell as well. Like, there were just opportunities for them to even up that scoreboard that they didn't take. But the last 6 scoring shots, 5 out of the last 6 were the Suns. Yep. And so I think there'd be some sterner conversation certainly in the Lions huddle. And I think for the Suns, Stewie Jew just saying to the guys, well, we're doing a lot right. We're just actually not converting our opportunities. So even from a contested possession perspective, which is something the Lions pride themselves on, the Suns are up in that area. So huge shift, I think, in that last 10 minutes of the quarter, and now certainly evenly balanced. While it's not quite on the scoreboard, for me the contest is pretty evenly balanced here at quarter time. Yeah, +6 is that contested possession advantage for Gold Coast. Individually, Jared Lyons, who won both Marcus Ashcroft medals last year, he leads the way for Brisbane with 9 disposals, 8 for Zach Bailey, including 2 goals, 7 for McCluggage, Starcevic and Neal. For the Suns, Rao leading the way with 11, Ainsworth, Holman and Anderson all have 8. Gold Coast inside 50 16 times to Brisbane's 12 in that first quarter, but the Lions from there 6 scores are 5-1, and from the Gold Coast's 6 scores are 2 goals 4.
As the lights take over here at Carrara, back into the middle, and it's the Suns with a clearance through Swallow, handball back to Anderson, tumbles it towards half forward and it rolls all the way inside 50. Starcevic read it best, got it down to Rich, handball over to Kadeem Coleman. He's monstered as he gets the handball back to Andrews, but he's just a cucumber. Totally calm on the left foot. It was a wobbly sack, but it got to Calamarchi in the left back pocket. Harris Andrews is always in third gear, but looking good.
Archie from the left back pocket kicks long to a contest on the Nerang River wing. Fisted down by Lohman of Brisbane, roved by Swallow of Gold Coast. He's tackled immediately by McCluggage. Oh, where was the prior there, my word? Free kick holding the ball. Hugh McCluggage runs away from the wing. He kicks it towards half forward over the head of Danaher. At the back of the pack, McCarthy. He's hassled by Powell. Tackled. Hands it away just in time that Danaher kept it in from 60 circles and kicks to full forward, and the lead of Jared Berry, who dives and marks on his chest 40 metres out directly in front. There's a couple of 1%ers there, guys, like Link McCarthy keeping the ball in play and being able to get the footy to Joe Danaher. I think ordinarily you'd expect Danaher to either get caught on the boundary and have a boundary throw-in, but just to break through a couple of pressure acts from the Suns and centre that footy to a marking Jared Berry. It's
those are the little things that make a difference when it comes to generating shots at goal.
Berry yet to kick a goal this year. Straight in front. Hits it with his right boot from 40 metres out. Beautiful finish. And that's 6 goals for Brisbane, and they're back out by 21 points. The Lions 6-1-37 to Gold Coast's 2-4-16.
Just the athleticism of Danaher, wasn't it? And that's what the Suns are lacking, that synergy and something a little bit different in their forward 50 compared to the Lions. Their athleticism of their talls and their smalls certainly stands out compared to their backs, and that was just made up, as you said, Lauren, made up from nothing. It was just a hack ball. His athleticism was able to turn his player inside out and then come back through the middle of the ground.
One player that will be disappointed in that defensive effort is probably Brandon Ellis. I'll just check his stats now. He's had a pretty quiet game, just the one disposal, and obviously a really heavy target when he came up from Richmond, and he'd be one player that needs to contribute a fair bit more today if the Suns are going to be a shot.
Well, the leading disposal winner still Matt Rowell with 11 for the Gold Coast. Jared Lyons 9 for Brisbane. Back into the middle, McInerney versus Witts. Call that one a draw, but Tuke Miller sharked it. Handball back to Swallow, getting more involved in the game. He tumbled it forward, and Ben Ainsworth for the Gold Coast has it to the run of Lockie Weller. Good handball, long run, kick to the goal square. Harris Andrews led everybody to the ball, and his big Mitch just clunked it right in front of the goal square. He wants to play on, gives it to Archie, and lace out. Beautiful pass in front of the leading Link McCarthy, playing his 100th.
Plays on, chips it on the head of Berry. It was spoiled away by Rowell on the wing and picked up by Gold Coast's Anderson. Kicks the Suns back inside 50, but no one there in the pocket except for Gardner, who takes a defender's mark for Brisbane. Chip infield on the 45, no pressure on McCluggage. He marks and does same to get the ball to Bailey just inside defensive 50. Bailey, another short pass to Coleman. Uncontested mark, but they're still inside defensive 50, Brisbane. Another uncontested. Oh no, the kick wasn't long enough. Didn't get to McCluggage beyond centre half back. He flipped it up to Archie, who evades Ellis just forward of the half back line. Flips it out wide to Starcevic, was it? Yep. Goes backwards to Andrews. Marks on defensive 50. Long kick to the wing, and Danaher gets in the back of Collins to give a free kick away. It's getting dark.
I love Joe.
Getting darker here. We might be in for some serious precipitation. Collins chips it along the wing. Casbolt takes the grab. Kick and a half from goal for Levi. Kicks wide to Rankin. Can't keep it in. A bit of a fumble on that pass near the boundary line, and we'll see a throw in 60 metres from the goal that the Suns are attacking and going towards the big scoreboard end at the northern end of Carrara, and Brisbane lead it early on by 21 points, 4.5 second turn.
That's a better throw in. McInerney versus Witts, taken by Tuke Miller. He's immediately claimed by the big ruckman, so he's going nowhere. Ball stuck underneath. We'll get a ball up. About 60 from the Gold Coast goal at right half forward. 19 inside 50s to 13 in favour of the Gold Coast, yet only 7 shots apiece. It's kicked towards the 50 arc. Starcevic going back with the flight, takes a very good mark. Courageous young player, nephew of Craig, and all best to Coach Stas. He's re-signed as well with the Lions. A long kick from Brandon Starcevic goes to the outer wing. McStay at ground level, got it to Lohman. He just propelled it forward, getting some territory. Bailey couldn't pick it up. There's Ellis getting more involved for you there. Loz got the handball away to Matt Rowell. Rowell with a wobbly left footer into the corridor. Dangerous turnover. Brisbane ball. Spearing kick. Oh, Lohman got rid of his opponent, didn't take the ball with him. Now his opponent in Lemons got up, socketed off the ground, and it was a beautiful kick, Ronaldo style.
Did well, Lemons.
Ainsworth, the beneficiary, marks on the wing, kicks to Chol at left half forward, 60 out, quick transfer to the pocket, 1-on-1 in the cage. It's Rankin, and Starcevic did enough to get it to ground level, a defender. Adams came through, slewed off his kick by the pressure of Casbolt. Out of play for a boundary throw-in. Still inside attacking 50 for Gold Coast.
They're defending really well, Gold Coast. Brisbane ball in hand, they're not looking as fluid as they normally do, and that's a credit to the way the Suns are setting up and the pressure they're putting on the ball.
Matt Primus with you on Grandstand AFL as the ball is tossed back into play. Witts to the front of the contest, taps down, doesn't have a rover though. Rayner steals it for Brisbane. Exiting kick from defence to the centre of the ground. Danaher flies on the back of Collins, couldn't mark. Lohman is tackled ferociously. Oh, that's hot, holding the ball. Weller gets the free kick.
just about folded him in half too.
It was an origami tackle, wasn't it? Just got him and just bent him in places he shouldn't have been. Lockie Weller plays on and Lohman saw. Long kick towards the goal square through the hands of Chol. At ground level, it's towed off the deck, but it's by Darcy Gardner for Brisbane. So it will be a rushed behind. The young fella in Lohman limping towards the boundary line as Daniel Rich has the ball in hand at full-back. Lions 6-1-37, the Suns 2-5-17, 20 points the margin.
As here comes the rain again, and Zane's keeping an eye on Lohman, limping to the bench. We'll get a report in a moment. Rich leaves the goal square to boom that left boot beyond defensive 50 on the inbound and hit the sliding chest of McStay. Well beyond right half back. Quick moment for you, Zano. How's he look?
Yeah, can't put any pressure on that right ankle, Q. He looks like he might be done, I reckon.
McStay from right half back, kicks down the wing. Beyond the fingers of the pack, at the back, Ballard rose for Gold Coast, kicks it back from whence it came, almost to McStay, knuckled away from him by Anderson, and out of play over the boundary line.
Yeah, there was nothing actually, illegal about that tackle. It was just a good hard tackle, and he just got bent up and folded underneath him, didn't he?
Yeah, it was very physical tackle, and it looked like his ankle probably got caught underneath everything.
Straight up the race, Kai Lohman in just his second game. Boundary throw-in just forward of the wing for Gold Coast. Lions leading by 20 points. Roped by Markov. Rush kick is out of bounds on the full. Free kick at right half back will be taken by Neil of Brisbane. Zane?
Yeah, he's just gone in for some treatment, Q, but just the amount of pain he was in, I just don't know how Kai can get back out here.
The Carrara curse strikes the Lions again. Gee, they've lost some players to injury at this venue over the last
certainly have, Q.
little period.
Lockie Neal, long kick down the line. Collins just getting in front of Danaher there as the rain starts falling again here at Carrara. Collins down the line again. Big pack and an inboard. Swallow roves nicely. It's a one-on-one inside 50. Casbolt versus Andrews, but the ball bounces and slews away for them off this now slippery Carrara surface for a behind. 6-1-37 plays 2-6-18. It's 19 points the margin as Brisbane play on quickly.
And it's sleeting in from the south at the moment. We're under the big protected awning, and even the windows of our commentary box is now getting some of the misty rain blown onto it. Gardner from the kicking gets it at left half back. Marks and kicks to the wing. Under a pack, Neil Roves hands to Anworth. Here to Archie, tackled ferociously. Dispossessed, play on. Answorth has another go for Brisbane. Ham passes to the half forward flank. Gathered there by Brisbane's Lions. High kick to full forward. Markov's underneath it. It spews off his chest. Berry was there to pry the pressure. He lost his footing. Markov got up, got the footy, kicks it clear. Marked by Davies at defensive 50 for the Suns. As Q Clash 22 becomes a rainy old affair. I don't think it's going to stick around though. There's some clear skies to the south. Davies kicks to the wing on the head of the contest of Adams and Chol. Adams clearly fists it away for a boundary throw-in.
David Swallows had a big second quarter. He started half-back as they've put him this year, but then after about 10 minutes in the first quarter, he went on ball, and it's not a tag on Lockie Neal, but he's playing close attention to him, but also winning enough of his own ball inside. So a more mature body against Brisbane.
Well, Lockie Neal only with the 8 disposals, Swallow with 11 so far, and on cue, wins number 12 in front of Lockie Neal. It's kicked towards 50. Chol was the flyer. Front and centre was Rankin, and then Miller. He went into the pack. The ball bounced into the hands of Anderson. Now over to Ainsworth. He's tackled by Zorko into the ground. 45 out. And it will be a ball up. And on the ground, another Lions player is reeling. It's Brandon Starcevic now slowly, hands and knees, just getting up. Looks like he's holding onto a hip as the ball comes out of the ruck contest. Handball Rankin, handball Markov, and now it's a whistle on play.
Starcevic gave away a high contact free kick because he sort of couldn't get the bump high enough.
Get out of the way.
Could barely move.
He couldn't extend his body to full height, so he bumped Rankin high.
Now Rankin's going to get the free kick. He's marked it out with the umpire right on 50.
Remember that game we did in Cairns between Gold Coast and North?
Who was kicking with the tide?
About 4 years ago?
Yes.
It's got a little bit of a look about that at the moment, the way the rain's sleeting in.
Well, it's sheeting towards the left speaker as you're listening to it, and the left as we're seeing at the southern end here. As Isaac Rankin will let go from 55. He might be favoured by that breeze and the tide. From 55, it slews off the right side of his boot to the pocket. Big fly. Chance at ground level. Picked up by Zorko. Handball backwards towards Harris Andrews. He's calmly, like Homer, back into the hedge. Walked backwards over the goal line and took a point, a rush behind. So it's 2-7 the Gold Coast to 6-1 Brisbane. It's only 18 points the margin, and the Suns are pressing.
Zorko long down the corridor with the inbound and a clean clunk. Great mark by Rayner in the slippery conditions. Plays on quickly with a kick to the wing. Not a great kick though. It missed Danaher. Allows Collins to pick up for the Suns. Kicks Gold Coast back to half forward. Hold on.
Free kick against
legged. Yeah, Danaher legged Collins.
So guys, the Suns have had 7 of the last 10 scoring shots and only 1 of those goals. So we can see that essentially if any team's controlling play, it's the Suns. They're just not capitalising on it.
Lauren Arnell on Grandstand AFL as Collins kicks long to half forward for Gold Coast. Slips off the knuckles of the pack. Roving Chol out the back. One touch to control. Now he snaps on his left. Great finish, big man. Beautifully done. Oh, in the conditions. Along with that long, lanky frame being controlled, Mab Chol with a great snap to make it a 2-goal Q clash. Lions 6-1-37, Suns 3-7-25, 12 minutes into the second term.
Well, as you mentioned, Lauren, it's they've dominated. It's good to get a bit of reward there for their hard work. Chol read that pretty well. Slippery conditions, the defenders let the ball over the back, which is always a cardinal sin. He hasn't had a great night so far, or afternoon so far, but you're always in the game, always got to be ready for your next opportunity, and he certainly finished that one off well.
Dane on the boundary. Sorry, Lauren.
Yeah, even more meritorious there with the movement there of Mab Chol, because he has had trouble with his groin at training this week. It was a bit of a 50-50 whether he played, so we'll be very pleased with that. And also the Sun selectors leaving him in.
We're watching the Lions now. They obviously haven't had anything on their own terms in this quarter. Centre bounce crew of Fort, McCluggage, Lyons and Bailey to try and correct things back in the Lions' way.
Your experts, Lauren Arnell, Matty Primus, Michael Price and Quentin Hull calling your action as Brisbane get the first clearance. Comes out to Danaher, wheels around onto the left foot, kicks it to the top of the goal square, and that was a really good spoiling effort, and that came from Burgess over the boundary line. And we'll get a throw in at right forward pocket for Brisbane. They're leading this by 12 points, but the Suns frittering away their chances, and they should be in front.
13.5 plate second term. Boundary throw in deep in the Lions attacking zone. Ruckman go underneath it. Bailey Rove snaps. He's got a third. He is all class. Even in the wet. Give him a crack of an opening and he slams down the door in front of goal. Number 33 has 3. And it's Brisbane 7-1-43 to Gold Coast 3-7-25.
This is a great test for the Suns because all their numbers in their coach's box and on their bench and to their players will be saying we're dominating the game. But every time Brisbane go inside 50, they're scoring. So can they just keep playing that way and tidying up a little bit in their back 50, or will they go, oh, this is just getting too hard and let the floodgates open up? But really challenging next 10 or 15 minutes for them.
And Zach Bailey, I know you're voting today, Q, on the Marcus Ashcroft medal. He's had more pressure acts than anyone else on the ground. He's playing mostly inside that forward 50, a little bit now on ball. 3 goals, 10 disposals, 12 pressure acts, absolutely leading the way in what is a very contested game of football.
Zane on the boundary.
Yeah, Jackson Pryor has been enacted, so Lohman is out for the rest of the game. He's out there now, Pryor.
Oh dear, the Carrara curse strikes again for the Brisbane Lions as they win another clearance. It's towed forward by Jared Lyons, inside 50. Rayner picks it up, handball back to Bailey, shooting for number 4. Oh yes, Zach Bailey! The kid is on fire. 8-1-49, plays 3-7-25. Get it to the hot hand of Zach Bailey.
And also the last 2 centre bounce wins, Jared Lyons. So they're under the pressure. Chol, great goal. The Suns are asking them questions. They go to the centre bounce. Lyons wins the first possession, kicks it deep. They get a goal from the forward stoppage. That centre bounce, he wins it, knocks it forward. Nothing pretty out of it, but just gets his territory game going. Stands up when they needed it.
And without being a bit too cheeky, Chol's goal actually meant that the game goes back on the Lions' terms in terms of the ball goes back into centre bounce, so they've got opportunity to move quickly and play their style of play, whereas the Suns are really hemming them back in that forward half at the Gold Coast end, so centre bounces didn't really suit the Gold Coast. 2 quick goals to the Lions.
Centre bounce, Fort with the tap down for Brisbane. Whistle.
Jared Lyons again.
Held. Yep, he'll get a free kick. Runs through the bullseye and kicks Brisbane into attack once more. Oh, there's a mark for Rayner this time. Used his body beautifully to nudge Burgess, out of the way. And Cam Rayner is going to have a shot on goal. And after all of this pressure from Gold Coast, the Lions are a chance of kicking 3 goals essentially in 90 seconds of footy to go out to a 5-goal lead. Cam Rayner, who did his knee on this ground in the lead-in to last season. Looking at the goods on that comeback after 12 months out with an ACL. 30 out directly in front. He's pushed it right though, and that's a poor miss. Brisbane 8-2-50, leading Gold Coast 3-7-25 on Grandstand AFL through ABC Sport.
You're right, Lauren. It just sort of all of a sudden the Lions bang. They're 56% inside 50, so they're 10 shots from 18, whereas the Gold Coast 25 inside 50s, only 9 shots. It's been kicked towards the commentary wing again. Darcy Fort was the target. He lets loose the ball now. Holman. He gets tackled. Adams cuts it off for Brisbane. It's just hard yakka against the boundary line and a slippery footy as well. It goes over next to the interchange gates. We'll get a throw in. Lauren Arnell.
Oh, just to reinforce the point, 3 goals, 7 to 8 goals too. It's the same number of scoring shots for both teams and a 25-point lead to the Lions.
Take your chances when they come. Throw in, just forward to centre wing and short of right half forward. Rove there by the man of the moment, Zach Bailey. Handball forward to Lockie Neal. Quiet tonight. He tumbles it towards 50. Big pack. It's well rowed by Lemons. All slapped across the head as he fell forward. Will get the free kick, does Sean Lemons, about 30 from his own defensive goal.
And kicks it on the head of Fiorini beyond half back. That gave an opportunity for Pryor to spoil. And the sub's now down clutching a rib, I think, after copping a loose elbow in that contest. He's up and okay, but looks a bit winded. It's gone beyond the boundary line, and we'll see a throw in as that rain has stopped for the time, or mostly stopped. It's very light now. And the skies are lightening. Shallow throw in, and the ump says do it again.
I think he's called holding the jumper. You can see the jumper tug against Darcy Fort there pretty clearly. So another Lions free kick.
Okay. What's the free kick count? It's squared up a bit. 11-10 now in favour of Brisbane. So Fort. Oh, his shoe came off as he kicked it inside 50. And from our angle, there were 2 projectiles going in the same direction. It's hit the pack. McCluggage is tackled by Rowell, and it goes to deck.
How far do you reckon that shoe went? That was reasonable.
Fair kick.
Our perspective was magnificent.
That's a
right
good
behind
effort.
it.
Talk about laying the slipper into it, Pricey.
It just kept going and going. Roving at McCarthy. Handball back to the standing start tumbler of Ainsworth for Brisbane. He kicks it to the goal square, and the Gold Coast have cut it off. Markov was the target from the exiting kick, and he dropped the ball. Starcevic picked it up. Markov tackled him into the ground. Now it's loose. Ainsworth for Brisbane can't pick it up. Tuke Miller could. Weaves his way through traffic on the outer wing. Handball to Lockie Wellen. Now to Fiorini on the left foot. Target is Casbolt. He's got a man on his own inside 50 if he gets it there. It's a mongrel of a kick cut off by Jackson Pryor. Gives it to Zorko, who kicks it straight up the guts. The Lions have got a man open, but they missed the target in McCarthy.
And there's a free kick anyway because what?
Downfield, I think.
Yeah, Pryor got dumped after he got rid of it. McCarthy takes the free kick and he mishits that towards half forward. A sliding mongrel near Bailey. Couldn't pick it up that time. Hold on, there's a whistle. Where's that come from?
Kicking in dangers, Q.
Okay.
Bailey threw his boot at it when he definitely shouldn't have.
Thank you, Loz. Collins with the free kick. Watching the football and these... Oh, hold on, there's another whistle.
This one's on the boundary, guys. I think blood rule by looks. Starcevic has a couple of minutes ago copped a pretty heavy hit, guys, on that far wing.
I've still got the vision of Darcy Fort's boot flying in tandem with the Sharon downfield. Zane on the boundary.
Yeah, he's only just got it on. The trainer had to find him. He ran around the middle of this oval for a little while with no shoe on, and Isaac Rankin actually threw it over the boundary line, so the trainer had to go and get it. Darcy had no idea where it was.
Rankin's given away the souvenirs already. So,
well, shoeies are a thing at the Lions at the moment. Coach Starcevic.
Brandon Ellis has the ball for the Gold Coast inside defensive 50, launches it towards the interchange gates. Witts flies over the back of him, double grabbing Mark. Wants to play on. Chol versus Coleman. Coleman did well to get back and bother Chol out of it. Picked up there by Corbett. Handball to Rowell. Rowell to the run of Ellis. Oh, tackled front on. He was met by young Jackson Pryor, but a little high, said the umpire. And forward to centre wing, the former Tiger, Brandon Ellis, chips it forward to Witts. Witts now lopes onto the left shoe, kicks it to the pocket. Big pack, Chol, front and centre. Zorko handball to Rich, who extracts it with a wobbly left footer. It's coming back though from the coast.
Butterick hand passes to Ellis. He hands it to Ballard, and the chip is marked by Anderson. Man on the mark is 50 from goal. Anderson kicks Gold Coast deep. Chol in the pocket. Big piece couldn't mark. Out of play for a boundary throw-in. Score check at Carrara. It's Brisbane 8-2-50, leading Gold Coast 3-7-25. 22 minutes played in this second term. Zach Bailey, with 4 goals for Brisbane, has played a dominant role. Boundary throw-in. Rode by Swallow, the veteran for the Suns. Yes! Throws it onto his boot from the top of the goal mouth and kicks a goal. David Swallow with a much-needed major. It narrows Brisbane's lead to 19 points at 8-2-50 to 4 goals, 7-31. Lauren Arnell and Matt Primus.
He's had a terrific quarter here. It was on Lockie Neal again. He's got a nice little block. Lockie Neal will be disappointed that he wasn't able to fight through that. It was let him go far too easy. I reckon both coaches would be disappointed. There's a couple of forwards 50 stoppage goals, which are very hard to come by, but Brizzy kicked one that was easy, and that one there, the Suns, was a pretty easy one too. But once again, a bit of reward, but hard work for the Suns to kick their goals.
And just a reminder, if you are listening to us in the West, when we get to half-time, you'll be heading to the NBL. You can continue to hear the AFL, of course. Just go to the AFL app and look for the ABC Worm. But if you're listening to us on analogue radio in the West, the Wildcats fight to keep the streak alive and making finals coming your way at half-time.
We're back into the middle of Carrara. Witts gets it out there to Weller for the Gold Coast handball to Collins. He hooks it around to half forward. He misses the target. It's punched into the middle. The Lions with a chance. Off the deck, Rayner, kick smothered. Off the hands of Witts, in forward to Ainsworth. He's tackled by Zorko. He propels the ball forward. Now Davies for the Gold Coast inside 50. Casbolt with the bulk. He couldn't quite get the job done with the hands at ground level. Rankin with class. Gathers it. Has a hook around the body. Harris Andrews playing goalkeeper, and he could have taken that in one grab, but I reckon he didn't want to. He wanted to take it through and just suck up a bit of time. It's a rush behind. 8-2 to Brisbane, 4-8 the Suns. It's a 18-point margin. Zane Bojak's on the boundary line.
Yeah, Kai Loma's made his way out onto the bench with crutches, and I can tell you that Brendan Starcevic has been fixed up. He's got bandages all over his head, but I don't know whether to get back on this quarter, but he's ready to go again.
Rich kicks beyond the pack at half forward, then Bailey punches it 15 metres forward and has been deemed to not trying to keep the ball in play and is penalised for it. And there was no one in front of him, so I reckon that's a good call from the ump. Yeah. See, we're very balanced here.
He punched it 10 metres forward.
Yeah, but there was no one there when he punched it towards the boundary line. Was he trying to keep it in? Anyway. Here's a kick towards half. It's a tough job. Kick towards half forward. Rode by Gardner at half back for Brisbane. Hand pass to Adams. A high clearing kick with no penetration to a pack. Rode by Neal. Semi-smothered. It spins like a top and stays in. Tight on the boundary line. Picked up by Swallow of the Suns. His hand pass was a Medicare hand pass to Weller. Wrapped up as soon as he got it. Ump lets them play. Fiorini fumbles it out of play.
Been some 50-metre penalties in this box today. Wow, very pricey then. Cue early. Descent everywhere.
Well, I'm sitting on my hands. No, throw in here on the commentary wing.
We've still got flesh and blood in this commentary box, unlike the expectation of players of the modern era.
Yes, exactly right.
Oh, they've got a lot of expectations on both sides.
Robots.
It is 18 points of margin late in this second quarter. We've got about 5 minutes left of it. And look, the Gold Coast have just been peppering away inside 50. They're leading that category 29-21, but failing on the scoreboard by 18 points at the moment. The throw in, there's a whistle on play. Rao tackled off the ball by his opposite number 18 in Kitty Coleman, so it will be a free kick to Matt Rao. Disposal number 12. Kept a little quieter.
Scoreboard nourishment. That's what the Suns need late in this first half. They've had a crack, but they trail by 3 goals. Rao keeps deep. A Casbolt hand couldn't mark. Rove by Rich. Hand pass puts Berry under pressure. High contact and a free kick for Jared Berry. And the offender there was Alex Davies, who came in with Rosas and Farah, the late omissions. Burge is also coming into the team with that change pre-game. And Jared Berry in the right back pocket kicks Brisbane out of defence. Looking for Danaher on the wing. He's behind Collins, who got 2 grabs and takes the mark for the Suns. This is a good contest between the two 1970s mulleted, mustached crew. Collins from the wing Kicks it to a pack at half forward. Off hands. Gardner a chance to rove for Brisbane and does. Snap around the body. Pitches near the boundary line and bounces out of play. Throw in between wing and left half forward for Gold Coast. Score check at Carrara. Brisbane 8-250. Leading the Suns 4 goals 8-32. You're hearing it all on Grandstand AFL through ABC Sport.
And the umpire about to throw it in right in front of the ABC Sport commentary box. Witts leads McInerney to the ball, propels it towards the boundary line. Miller, it came off his foot. No, the umpire said off his knee, and it'll be a throw in 70 metres from goal left half forward. Zane's on the boundary.
Yeah, look, we've always got everything in the Q Clash. Well, there's a little bit of lightning just behind the scoreboard there, guys. Something to look forward to in the last 2 quarters.
Oh, good on you, Zano. Throw in. That's a better one from the boundary umpire. Tuke Miller front and centre, got one high. Umpire says a free kick. Then he inexplicably called play on. So Miller had to do so. Kick to the top of the goal square through the hands of Chol Roving Davies. Oh, big bump. Well, it was a big bump and it was called high. That was Matty Primus you heard, and it was a free kick to Alex Davies, 20 metres out directly in front. The youngster gets a crack at it. Just having a look on the replay, what do you think?
He made the umpire notice. He made the umpire notice it for sure, but
see, that's hairist. Because he's got hair, it's easier to notice,
in
Matt.
the wet.
Ooh. There you go, especially when that hair is sort of splaying Rocky style. The sweat comes off it once it gets hit.
It was a free kick.
Alex Davies comes in. 2 goals, 1 this year. Oh, he's pulled that one to the left from 20 metres out directly in front. Not what the Suns required. 4 goals, 9. 33, now 17 points adrift of the Lions. 28 minutes gone, second quarter. Lauren Arnell, a coach killer.
Oh, you can't miss those. Right in front, easy shot at goal. And the Suns now plus 11 inside 50s and still down on the scoreboard.
Lions have worked it to right half back on the inbound. Rayner now with a long kick to the wing. Off the pack, Bailey roves and kicks to a vacant half forward line for Brisbane. First back is power for the Suns. Got it, lost it. Is tackled by McCarthy and dispossessed, holding the ball. Play on, they'll take the advantage, and Pryor runs into an open goal to make the Suns pay.
That stings.
Again, an inside 50, a rare one for Brisbane, but they come up with the maximum result. 9-2-56 plays 4-9-33.
Really, really smart footy from the Lions. I'm not sure, I can't remember who kicked the ball in, but it was a very fast play because I think
Bailey.
Everyone on the ground, the Lions player who actually kicked the ball in.
Yeah, Bailey
No, kicked the ball in from the point.
Oh.
So when Davies was having that shot at goal, fair to say everyone in this stadium goes, yeah, that's a goal, let's set up for centre bounce.
Yeah.
So Suns weren't set up to defend a fast play, and the Lions deliberately came out this wing, went very quickly inside 50. Suns weren't ready to defend that quickly. And exceptional pressure from Link McCarthy, and Jackson Pryor ends up with the chocolates.
Well, and it's got to be absolutely gut-wrenching for the Gold Coast Suns players as well. They've thrown in so much effort, Matty Primus, that it turns around, goes bang.
Well, just a simple chest mark, wasn't he? He dropped it. It's not simple, it's slippery, but he dropped the chest mark and that put him under the pump and a goal.
Here comes a clearance. Tuke Miller for the Gold Coast. Kicks it inside 50. Casbolt with the body at ground level. Towed off the deck by Rankin. Picked up by Chol. No, towed off the deck towards the boundary line. Still a chance. Ainsworth tackled off it. The ball spills. We'll get a throw in the right forward pocket for the Suns. They are pressing, but they are not converting their chances. 30 minutes gone in the second quarter on Grandstand AFL. Matty Primus.
There was the difference. The Brisbane would have kicked a goal from that inside 50 where the Suns fell over and lost their feet and the ball went out of bounds.
Throw in the forward pocket for the Suns, but roved by Neil of Brisbane. Hand pass to try to kick off the deck by Coleman. It ricocheted off another player and back out of play, so another throw in. The Suns are plus 11 for inside 50s, yet trail the game by 23 points, and they've had 13 scoring shots to 11, the Suns. 9-2 to 4-9. Bad kicking is bad football, as they say, hey? Coach 2B and coach of past. Here's McCluggage underneath that stoppage. Clearing kick is poor. Stolen by Ellis of the Suns. 50 out. Hands it to Miller. Kicks the full forward. Casbolt 1-2. No, couldn't claim the mark. Roved by Adams. Hand pass puts a teammate under pressure. The Suns swarm in tackling. And a double clamp there from Holman and Ainsworth meant there was no way out for Rayner. And a ball up will take place 30 metres from the Suns' goal.
Umpire throws it up. McInerney and Chol got up very high at ground level. Neil tackled off it. Rowell in traffic, got his left foot to the ball and just snapped it wide, one behind. 4 goals, 10 the Suns. 9 goals, 2 the Lions. That means the Lions in front by 2 goals. 31 gone. Second quarter, Grandstand AFL.
By 4 goals, you mean?
Oh, 4 goals, sorry, champion.
Yes, that's all right.
Wishful thinking for the contest.
22 points. Yeah. Short inbound in the pocket, marked by Rayner. And this is the side they came on that last movement, as Rayner is dumped by Chol after he kicks it. And, well, is that a downfield free kick? Yep. It is. And now...
See if Brisbane play quick here or just try and milk out the last minute of this quarter.
Fort's going to take the free kick at right half back. Hand passes to Rich. Left foot kick, long. McCarthy flies at the front of the pack, couldn't mark. Roving, who was that from Brisbane? I can only see Lemons tackling there. It was a very good tackle. It was Bailey underneath it. And we pick him up. He's done everything so far this game. Well, a chance for the Suns. Hand pass comes out from Anderson to Swallow. Rush kick from half back to the wing. Through the fingers of Casbolt. Rode by Davies. Clever infield. Hand pass to Anderson, who dropped it under the implied pressure and then real pressure of McCarthy. Picked up by Brisbane. Zorko. Chips to Neal. Watch out. An inside 50 generally means a score for Brisbane. Here's the kick deep to the pocket. Juggling attempt by Archie. No mark. McCluggage comes in to arrive and help pressure it and lock it up in the forward pocket for a ball up.
First time I've seen Alex Davies play live. He's got a bit about him, doesn't he, guys?
He's a smooth mover. Smooth mover indeed. Boy from Cairns, Menunda in Cairns. Towed out of the 50 into the hands of Zorko. A standing start. Kick to the goal square off the hands of Danaher. They fall to the ground and the ball spills through. Big contest between Danaher and Collins there. I love that contest indeed. One behind, 9-3 to 4-10. It is now 23 points in favour of the Lions late in the second.
And just a reminder, we're about to hit to half-time, so WA Analog, you're going to the basketball, and of course you can continue to hear the AFL through the ABC worm on the AFL app. That is half-time at Q Clash 22. And Brisbane has made the most of its opportunities, unlike the hosts, who have been valiant yet wasteful. And it's Brisbane leading by 23 points at half-time. The Lions 9 goals 5, 57 to the Suns 4-10-34. And Zach Bailey has been the star. He has kicked 4 goals. Also goals to Danaher, McStay, Rayner, Berry and Pryor. While for Gold Coast, Holman with a couple, Chol and Swallow the other 2. Brisbane 9-3-57. Gold Coast 4-5-34 at half-time in Q Clash 22. Matt Primus and Lauren Arnell, a thought or two, as it looks like the rain has gone for now. We've had a fair bit to talk about, but of course the winning and losing of the contest is the main issue. What have you got?
I think, as we mentioned, Matty, that whole quarter is very much opportunities being created for the Suns, but far less efficient than the opportunities that the Lions were creating for themselves. And you'd sense there'd be a fair bit of frustration in that Suns group as they walk off. They're in the game, but the inaccuracy and the inefficiency inside 50 would be frustrating, and how easily they're letting the Lions score would probably be the biggest area of concern. 50% of times that the Lions go inside their forward 50, they're scoring, and very, very accurate as well, Brisbane. So I think it's a sign of maturity, really, for the Lions, is that it's a contested game of footy. The rain and the conditions don't really suit an easy brand or a uncontested brand of football, which at times the Lions can be really good at, is just that short chipping, wait, find the right kick through the middle of the ground. Like, the Suns aren't letting them do that. So I think the maturity for the Lions to kind of stand up under that pressure, force inefficient shots at goal from Suns, and then capitalise when they do get their chance, I think has been a good sign for the Lions. And the Suns, I think you'd hope there's positivity at half-time because they're creating opportunities for themselves. They're just not capitalising. And
on the way to Matt, if you are with us in the West, time for you to depart for the hoops. Matty.
Great summary, and I think Brisbane have kicked 5 goals from stoppages out of their 9. So if the Suns can tidy that up, and mainly centre bounce as we spoke about, but that's a huge score source for them. If they can tidy that up, they're doing a lot of things right, and I reckon that would be the message coming from Stewie Dew and the rest of the coaches. That we're doing a lot of things right here. We need to tidy up this. We can't worry about the mistakes we're making every now and then, like the drop mark inside 50 that cost them, a free kick that cost them another goal. They can't worry about that. Just got to keep playing their brand of football for longer and harder than what Brisbane, and see if they can get a result, because there's no other style of play they can do that's going to make Brisbane worry about them too much. But you're right, they're defending them really well. They're tougher than them at the moment. They're getting the ball inside 50 a lot more. They're tackling, they're hard, all those sorts of things. So for me, it'd be Dewey, let's keep playing this way as much as we can, tidy up our centre bounce work. And for the opposite, Fags will be looking for a bit more expansive ball movement. They haven't been able to just kicking long down the line, which is playing into the Suns' favour. And a couple of times when they have switched the ball, they've looked dangerous. So he'd be looking for a little bit more of that and probably spend the ball a bit more time in their forward 50. Although when it does go in there, it just goes through the big sticks, doesn't it, and comes back out for a centre bounce. So an interesting second half to see how both teams respond.
Thanks, Matt. Thank you, Lauren. So repeating that scoreline, Brisbane 9-3-57, leading Gold Coast 4-10-34 after Brisbane led by 15 points at quarter time. It's now a 23-point advantage at half-time. Earlier today, a 10-goal win for the Cats down in Tassie. Jeremy Cameron kicked 7 as Geelong won 17-19, 121 to North's 9-7, 61. Richmond and Melbourne to come at the MCG after this. In the NRL today, Newcastle defeated Parramatta 39-2. And at halftime, the Panthers lead the Raiders by 18 points to 6. Halftime here at Q Clash 22. It's Brisbane by 23 points. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday afternoon of football with us here on ABC Sport. We'll be back after the latest from the newsroom.
ABC News with Satyam Weinstein. The Prime Minister is rejecting suggestions Australia's foreign aid cuts contributed to the controversial security pact between China and the Solomon Islands. Analysis from the Lowy Institute has found Australia's funding to the Solomon Islands has fallen dramatically since the end of Ramsay, Australia's multi-year assistance mission. Federal Labor has seized on that, arguing it's partly to blame for the new security pact. There are fears the treaty could open the door to a Navy base in the South Pacific Islands, but Mr Mawson says the country's Prime Minister, Manasseh Sogavare, insists no such base will be built.
He was very clear in his latest communication with me not that long ago that he has no intention of putting a naval base there on the Solomon Islands, and so we have always upped our investment across the Pacific.
The opposition's multicultural affairs spokesman, Andrew Giles, says this Orthodox Easter many are concerned about events in Ukraine. Mr Giles has attended a Greek Orthodox service in Melbourne. He says many in the Ukrainian community are suffering the trauma of waiting to hear about family and friends.
And their anxiety for friends and family and their homeland as they watch this conflict roll out. And at this time, those prayers for peace are powerful, but obviously not all the comfort that people need right now in terms of the Australian-Ukrainian community and, of course, the people of Ukraine right now.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says about 500,000 Ukrainians, including thousands of children, have now been taken from Russian-occupied territory into Russia. He spoke to reporters in Kyiv ahead of a visit to the capital by a high-powered U.S. delegation due there later today. Mr. Zelensky's scheduled to meet with the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and the Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin.
People from the USA will be visiting us. We'll talk about that armament list that we need, about the equipment that we need, and the terms of provision.
Polls have opened in the French presidential election in which far-right politician Marine Le Pen is challenging incumbent centrist Emmanuel Macron. Our Europe correspondent Steve Kinane reports from Paris.
This election is expected to be much closer than 2017, when Emmanuel Macron gained 66% of the vote. Recent polls have the president ahead by 10 to 14 points, but all will depend on how many voters turn up in a system based on voluntary voting. Ms. Le Pen has campaigned hard on cost of living pressures. In the final days of the campaign, Mr. Macron has reminded voters of his challenger's support for President Putin and her push to ban the wearing of Muslim headscarves in public. The 44-year-old is trying to become the first president to be re-elected in France in 20 years. Steve Kinane, ABC News, Paris.
Officials in Tunisia say at least 12 African migrants have died after 4 boats sank off its coast. Another 10 people remain missing and nearly 100 have been rescued. A teenager has died with COVID-19 in Western Australia. WA Health says the patient had underlying health conditions. It's not known whether the teenager was fully vaccinated. 2 additional historical deaths dating back to the 14th of April have also been reported. They were a man in his 70s and a man in his 80s. There are 239 people with COVID-19 in hospital in WA. 8 of those people are in intensive care. In New South Wales, 86 people have died from COVID-19 in the past 7 days of reporting. 8 deaths have been recorded in the latest reporting period, including 2 people in their 50s. There were 11,107 new infections recorded. There are currently 1,588 people in hospital with COVID in New South Wales, including 64 people in intensive care. Firefighters say a hotel fire in North Adelaide has been deemed accidental. Emergency services were called to a room on the second floor of the Adelaide Merredin Hotel in Melbourne Street this morning. 7 people are in hospital, including 1 person who sustained critical injuries in the blaze. Graham Ward says he was inside the hotel when the fire broke out. He says he works for the fire service in South Australia's Riverland region and could tell the blaze was serious.
When you hear all the pops and crackles and bangs, you know it's well and truly cooking. It's fairly hot. It's getting going pretty well, and flames and smoke are pouring out the windows and doors. So we hope everyone's right.
And flood warnings have been issued as shower activity is expected to continue in far north Queensland over the coming days. The Weather Bureau says warnings are in place for the Daintree, while minor flood warnings are in place for the Russell, Tully, Murray and Mossman rivers. Senior forecasters say there is a potential for heavy rainfall over the coming days. ABC News.
The aged care sector.
Cost of living.
Tactics from the government.
Young people really care about climate change.
Keep across all the election news that matters to you.
With a lineup of some of the ABC's best podcasts on the ABC Listen app.
Get in-depth reporting from podcasts like Hack,
The Party Room,
and daily coverage from Australia Votes, hosted by Melissa Clark, James Glenday and me, David Spears, as we run through the issues that matter to voters.
All the latest election news that matters to you.
With the ABC Listen app.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season.
Grandstand AFL. On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Danaher kept it in from 60 circles and kicks to full forward, and the lead of Jared Berry, who dives and marks on his chest 40 metres out directly in front. Hits it with his right boot from 40 metres out. Beautiful finish. Collins kicks long to half forward for Gold Coast. Slips off the knuckles of the pack. Roving Chol out the back. One touch to control. Now he snaps on his left. Great finish, big man. Beautifully done. Boundary throw in deep in the Lions attacking zone. Ruckman go underneath it. Bailey Rowe snaps. He's got a third. He is all class. Even in the wet.
Towed forward by Jared Lyons, inside 50. Rayner picks it up, handball back to Bailey, shooting for number 4. Oh yes, Doug Bailey! The kid is on fire!
Boundary throw in, rode by Swallow, the veteran for the Suns, yes! Throws it onto his boot from the top of the goal mouth and kicks a goal. Off the pack, Bailey Rhodes, and kicks to a vacant half-forward line for Brisbane. First back is Power for the Suns. Got it, lost it, is tackled by McCarthy and dispossessed, holding the ball. Play on, they'll take the advantage, and Pryor runs into an open goal to make the Suns pay.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
What a pleasure it is to have your company on this Anzac Day long weekend. Quentin Hull and the team at Q Clash 22. Carrara on the Gold Coast has seen some spitting rain, then some sleeting rain, some beautiful rainbows over the skyline, and now the floodlights are taking effect and the Auskick kids are out in the middle of, well, a wet underfoot Carrara, but no rain here as we speak. And we've seen a seesawing contest where the Suns have had a real crack, but they've been wasteful trying to break a 6-game losing streak against their rivals from up the M1. The Lions leading by 23 points at half-time. 9-3-57 to 4 goals 10-34. That was after Brisbane had led by 15 points at quarter time. And among, well, some of the numbers that Michael Price will go through a little deeper in a moment, the sparkling number on the scoreboard is 4 goals for Zach Bailey. He's kicked 14 goals now for the season. He kicked 2 in the first quarter and 2 in the second. And as you heard in the highlights, he's been a real classy finisher on an afternoon which so far has really illustrated the waste of opportunities that the Suns have had going forward. Earlier today, Geelong 17-19, 121 to North Melbourne 9-7, 61. We've got Richmond and Melbourne to come tonight, and then 2 games tomorrow, of course, highlighted by the Essendon-Collingwood game at the MCG. We're in Tassie before that. If you aren't hearing that Tassie game, by the way, tomorrow on local radio, it is available via the AFL app. Look for the ABC Radio Worm to hear the call of that game between Hawthorn and Sydney. We'd like to hear from you as well. Keep your messages coming in on the SMS line. The number is 0437 774 774. That's 0437 774 774. Michael, chance for you to delve a little deeper into the numbers at half-time.
Let's have a look at the team stats as we go. Disposals, well, Brisbane are only 3 up there, 167 to 164. They've got a few more kicks by 4. Gold Coast, that one more handball. Inside 50s is the telling tale, though, 33 to 24 in favour of the Gold Coast. Disposal efficiency at 64 and 66% respectively, Gold Coast and Brisbane, but it is that inside 50 efficiency that is costing the Gold Coast. 33 inside 50s for only the 14 shots. Brisbane 24 inside 50s for 12, so Brisbane operating at 50% and the Gold Coast operating at 42. When it comes to the individuals, though, the players, we're having a look at the Gold Coast. David Swallow had a ripping quarter. He's ended up with 16 disposals. Noah Anderson with 15, as well as Matt Rowell with 15 and 7 clearances. Jared Lyons leads for the Lions at 13 disposals. Zach Bailey with another 13 at 4 goals to go with his 13 disposals. Jared Lyons with 6 clearances as well as 8 inside 50s. But Matty Primus and Lauren Arnell, our experts, it is a tale of the tape that the Gold Coast have just wasted a few of their opportunities. Then they should be right in this game.
Well, I still think they are. As we spoke about, it'd be interesting to see when we talk to some players at the end of the game what the message was at half-time. But I reckon Dewey would be saying if we can continue to play that way in the third quarter, we might chip this lead, take 2 goals off it, and then at three-quarter time we reset and try and take another couple of goals off it. So that'd be the motive behind it. And Fags would be, trying to keep their efficiency going, but also he'd be asking some questions of his certain players too that are down. Their backs are defended really well, but their midfield's probably getting beaten. So he'd be looking for a response. Jared Lyons has been good at the centre bounce, but Lockie Neal's down. David Swallow's done a good job there. Their wingers haven't got too much of the ball, so he'd be asking some questions there. And the Suns, have they got the ability to keep crashing in for another 2 quarters and defending the way they are? I think Brisbane, historically so far this year, have been the second or third best team at moving the ball from their back line to their forward line. And I think they've had 4 inside 50s from that source tonight. So the Suns have defended it really well, and the conditions have helped a little bit. So can they continue again? And that's probably been the issue with the Suns over the last 3 or 4 years, is their ability to play 4 quarters out. They've been tough, they've been good for a half, but can they keep playing that way in their brand of football for another half and see if they can wear down a really good team in Brisbane?
And that's the ultimate question, isn't it, Matty? Because it feels like that's what we always talk about in these Q clashes is we know Brisbane are a more experienced team and they more often they're not above on the ladder than the Suns, but yeah, can you play 4 quarters? Because I wonder if the Suns do play 4 quarters and perhaps tidy up their inside 50 entries, they're right in this game, as you said. And what I do like about the Lions game is they're simplifying the game of football from centre bounce. If anyone else is here and they're not expecting that footy to end up 20 metres out in front of goal, straight down the middle, you're watching the wrong game.
Yeah,
it's a very predictable style of play.
That's true.
And it's efficient and it's working.
They're only leading 8-7 in the centre bounce clearances, but they're getting done in the clearances by the Gold Coast. 28 to 23, the Gold Coast around the ground beating Brisbane in the clearances as well. So it's just interesting. The stats are pretty even apart from when they get it up to the pointy end.
How good's Lauren been in her time as an analyst with us?
One of the best I've ever worked with.
And
end of story.
And I reckon...
I'll keep bringing you lollies, boys.
I reckon, Lauren, you have come up with just about every answer, football-wise, on the text. So I'm sure you'll have an answer from... Maria at Wood End.
Thrown under the bus.
Hi, Maria.
Hi, Grandstand at Q Clash. How does a player lose a shoe when kicking? This seems odd, like equipment that hasn't been checked.
I don't know.
To our infallible. Loz, how in the hell did Darcy Fort's boot come off when he was kicking the Sharon?
I'm 168 centimetres with footy boots on, so you're probably best placed to ask Matty Primus. I'm wondering whether Darcy Fort can reach his shoelaces to tie them up properly.
Yeah, that's a good 2 metre drop, isn't
it? Maria, I hope you might have had a broadcast on while you're listening to us, because it was quite amusing to watch, and we really let it go. Like, that boot it would have gone 30 metres.
I reckon it went 30, the kick went 50.
I enjoyed it.
In the same line. It was beautiful.
And we call from quite high on the western wing, and we had the perfect trajectory of the flight path.
He can't have had his shoes done up. It's just not.
Can I question without notice? And it has been sent a text through from Peter who wanted to know about
Shoe Clash 22 has become Shoe Clash.
Oh, jeez. Matty Primus, just a very quick question, not relating to this game, but it is to a degree. Last night or yesterday we saw Fremantle ruckman Sean Darcy versus Mark Pitnet from Carlton and the clashing of the knees. Now Pitnet's out with a PCL. I saw in social media a couple of former players talking about the clashing of the knees and whether they should keep the eyes on the ball. What's your take on it from a man who basically was rucking before the centre circles was introduced and it was a big clash every time?
I was wondering how long it took for a Blues Carlton question to get in here with you, Pricey, over here, mate. But look, the letter of the law says it should be a free kick once you take your eye off the ball, but it happens regularly for guys that can't jump or can jump. If you're not a good jumper or you've got more size, you're trying to see where the jumper is and line him up. And I think it's just an unfortunate part of the game. They brought in the circle to stop momentum and more power and the longer run-up to stop the force, but it still happens, the PCLs, just by the angle of the knee when they lift it up and where it hits on the other ruckman's body. So
there's your answer, Pete. Thank you very much, Matty Primus.
I feel what I'm hearing you say is it's just part of the game and you've just got to play as is. I know Corey McKernan tweeted around it needs to be a free kick if the player's not looking at the footy. But I just put myself in umpire's shoes at centre bounce. You've either got to bounce the ball or throw it up. And then how on earth you're supposed to keep an eye on where those eyes are of each ruck, plus what's external around the midfielders at centre bounce. I'm not quite sure how you can adjudicate that.
It's very hard, and Corey's a jumper, so he would hate people lining up and seeing where he is because he wants to jump over the top of them.
Quick one on the Suns. They're about to start this third term. Where do they find the emotional drive when the scoreboard nourishment hasn't been there for their efforts?
They need to keep driving and just keep going that way and keep playing their style of footy.
It's a contest, certainly, in front of our eyes, but on the scoreboard, it's the team that has won the last 6 Q clashes and has only lost one game so far this year, Brisbane, taking a 23-point advantage into the second half, and the Lions have had to use their sub, Kai Lohmann, out with what looks like a pretty badly tweaked ankle or leg injury, and Jackson Pryor is playing. Third term's underway.
Umpire throws it up. Witts immediately with a tap out at the feet of Rowell. He can't quite pick it up and it stacks on the mill. Now Swallow goes back in with his experience, extracts it, but he's tackled in the back by Hugh McLuggage. No, it's actually holding the ball. There you go. I'm not going to call it. I'm just going to wait for the umpire. Handball back to Daniel Rich. Metres gained again. Kick inside 50 at the back. McStay punches it forward. Rowell again. It came off his shin, but Markov picks it up for the Coast. He's tackled and holding the ball. It's going to be a free kick to Brisbane. I'll just have a look at the tackler as he peels Markov off himself. And it's going to be Ainsworth. Well, actually, he's the last one up, but the free kick's going to go back to Charlie Cameron. I don't know how he sharked that. Ainsworth was the one who tackled the player to ground. Charlie Cameron will let go from just inside 50. Slide angle to the right. Nice looking drop punt, and it is through to start the third quarter in the right way for the Brisbane Lions. 10-3-63 plays 4-10-34. 1 minute gone to the third quarter. Matty Primus.
And there's the opportunities, Price. He's had 3 touches for the game. Cameron hasn't hit the scoreboard at all. So cold as ice, you could say. Come out after half time, has his 4th possession and kicks it from just on 50 right through the middle of it. So there's the difference in class and expectations. Brisbane going forward, what is it now, 10 goals 3. It's a great accuracy, and that's what they're taking their opportunities. And once again, a centre bounce, get it in their forward 50, scrambles around and they get a free kick.
So some early signs of concern in this second half for the Suns. The narrative has been okay in the first 6 weeks of the season, irrelevant after for Gold Coast, essentially under Stuart Dew. And it's threatening to go same course here unless they can change this one. From the centre bounce, Rayner comes in from the edge of the square, got tackled, no clearance. And we'll see another ball up next to the bullseye. Tossed in the air, ruckman share it through the fingers of Danaher, picked up by Collins, tackled by Danaher, but he got a hand pass, did Collins, away to Lemons. Rush kick around his body to the wing, pitches near the boundary line, Starcevich wins it, gets rid of his opponent Ainsworth, keeps it in, kicks it to half forward. Archie showed courage, so too did Anderson, great. No, that was Collins coming in. Great contest from the two of them. They collide, the ball's out of play, and a boundary throw-in is the result at left half forward for Brisbane.
Yeah, that's a great call, Q. Calamarchi with the sight of Sam Collins bearing down on him. Very courageous as the throw-in comes into the hands of Tuke Miller. Just a wild handball speculating towards Anderson, who made it look a little bit better than what it was. Got it to Ellis, back to Tuke Miller. Dribbles one up the wing. Cut off by Harris Andrews, handball to Darcy Gardner, his kick half smothered onto the logo. Ellis, handball to the run of Anderson, into the path of Choliad. The city was tunnelled, for goodness sake, by Ainsworth. It's taken on the boundary, kick inside, and it's Casbolt 20 metres out directly in front. Lauren Arnell.
That was really good play by Mabior Choli. He had a Lions defender rushing at him, and you called tunnelled Pricey, but just the predictability of him to tap it down in his teammates, I think it was Ainsworth in his favour. That's created this opportunity for Casbolt, who's really been quiet tonight.
Not a lot for Levi Casbolt to crow about. He's had the 4 touches, not to bother the scorers yet. Comes in from 25 metres and pops it straight through the middle. Gold Coast with a much-needed goal. 10-3-63, the Brisbane Lions. 5-10-40, the Gold Coast. It's only 23 points the margin with 4 gone in the third term.
A couple of Suns getting involved in that passage of play who were quiet in that first half. Obviously, we mentioned Casbolt, but also Brandon Ellis, his clean hands and ground ball on the wing, where the surface is probably still a little bit damp from that first half rain. An exciting start for the Suns. Now they've just got to carry it on, Matty.
Zane on the boundary.
Well, look, I don't know whether the Suns can draw any motivation from the clash between these two in round 19 last year. They led by 27 at half-time and actually got beaten by 49. The Lions kicked 13 of the next 14 goals, so maybe the Suns can do something similar here at home.
Suns have never made the finals. Brisbane's been in the top 4 the last 3 years. Optimistic, Zano, but I'm going to shoot that one down.
Cop that.
Everyone's just going at it at Q Clash. Here's a clearance for Lions of Brisbane. Kicks it into attack. Road by McStay. Hand pass to Cameron. And he rolls into the open goal to answer within 20 seconds for his second goal. They're like a mean kid holding a magnifying glass over an ant. The Brisbane Lions with their incisiveness when they go into attack. The Suns are trying so hard, but Brisbane just goes forward and makes them pay.
Jared Lyons again from the centre bounce. I reckon every time he's won a centre bounce, it's ended up in a goal. I think that's now 5 goals from centre bounce when normally it's 1 or 2 at best if you have a really good day. So
now, Brisbane have had 27 inside 50s. Jared Lyons had 9 of them.
Yeah, it's
not bad.
Nothing pretty to that. But once again, the defenders, the Suns' defenders, is just it's just too easy from a centre bounce. That was not a clean kick, just a hack kick, and they were still able to get a goal out of it.
12 clearances between Jared Lyons and Hugh McCluggage, where it's the bulk of them between Rowell and Swallow for the Gold Coast. Rowell, he'll get another one here. Gets the handball out to Swallow, as we said. Umpire's going to be pulling a free kick out. It'll go to Rowell. He was manhandled by McCluggage. So Rowell goes forward. Point of the centre square, right half forward for the Gold Coast. Tuke Miller. They'd love to see him get more involved. The duel. Chopper's medal winner. Long kick in the Chol direction off his hands. Front and square was Kitty Coleman, and they've conspired to muck it up off the hands of Darcy Gardner over the boundary line. That's good for the Gold Coast. It'll be a throw in the right forward pocket.
Good crumb by Rankin then, but Brisbane would crumb that. They would have snapped and kicked a goal. He crumbed it, fumbled it, and the ball goes out of bounds.
Yeah, just that inside 50 sat. Gold Coast 35 to Brisbane 27, yet the Lions are 29 points in front. McInerney just nudges Witts out of the way, wins the ruck contest in the back line, hands it to Berry, extricating kick for Brisbane to left half back, ricochets off the pack, and Ellis and Danaher tangling but over the boundary line. Right near Zano. Hope you're okay, Zano. You know how it was intended down there, mate.
Oh, no doubt about it, Q, but I'd just love to see a contest. They've had more shots at goal, they just can't put them to the big sticks.
Yep.
Speaking of a contest, I'm loving this between Sam Collins and Joe Danaher, though. 2 contrasting styles, 2 contrasting moustaches.
From the clearance, Brisbane gained 40 metres upfield on a rushed kick from Jared Lyons, who is now leading the way possession-wise for Brisbane.
Looking for his third, Choppers.
He won the last 2. He had 37 disposals in round 9 here, and 33 in round 19 last year to win the Ashcroft medal on both occasions. Boundary throw in road by Rankin of Gold Coast at right half back. Rush kick around the body. Andrews spalls away from Chol. Over the line for a throw in on halfway.
Harris Andrews, seriously. One of the most laconic footballers I have ever seen, Harry Laconic Jr., but is absolutely brilliant. Against Chol.
Does a very good job, Harris Andrews. Playing well again tonight.
Just lets nothing through, does he? As well, McInerney had the jumper of Witts. Witts got the tap out, it's hacked forward. Could be bouncing for Powell. He didn't cut it off. McCarthy got a handball away. It's cut off there by Burgess. He got it back to Ballard. Now it's on the ground. It's with Rayner. Runs in from 30 and curls in. Another one. No, it hits the post. He had a bloke in the goal square with the hands out, which is 50. Dan McStay. And it's a point. 11-3-69, 11-4-70. Sorry, plays 5-10-40, 30 points the margin.
Well, Matt, a thought on that, because they had a couple of guys ghosting out the back, just trusting their teammate to win the contest there, Brisbane. Well, kick to right half back. We'll get a thought after the passage here. McInerney hand passes back to half forward. Rayner was one of them. He kicked the point. He's tackled here by Ballard. No prior ball up.
Just the synergy. They understand they've got enough at the contest, and the Suns are putting too many at the contest, and they're getting forward. So just a synergy and understanding each other's strengths.
Which taps down to Swallow, got a hand pass to Butterick. Quick clearing kick for the Suns to the wing. Hit the chest of Choley, couldn't mark. Picked up by Berry of Brisbane. Hand pass to Andrews, hands it to Coleman. 70 out left, half forward. Centering kick is spilled by... Who was that? Lyons. It was on his head, spewed through his fingers. Roved by McCluggage. Tackled, got rid of it by hand to Cameron. 40 out, left foot poker to the pocket. And it's off hands and out of play for a throw-in next to the behind post.
It's sort of like the air got sucked out of the stadium a little bit by Charlie Cameron's 2 goals. From the Gold Coast fans' perspective, they're trailing by 30 points at the moment. 9 minutes gone in the third term. The throw-in inside 50 for Brisbane is a contest at ground level. Oh, great tap out from Charlie Cameron to Zach Bailey, who curls around his 5th. It's a bag for Zach Bailey here at Carrara. 12-4-76, plays 5-10-40, 36 points the margin, and there is taking your chances yet again, Lauren Arnell.
Well, we can talk about Zach Bailey all night, that's no dramas, but we're starting to see some serious frustration from the Suns players towards each other defensively. There were 12 Suns inside forward 50 for the Lions just then. Not a single one of them got close enough to apply any level of pressure to Zach Bailey, and just after that, ball was kicked off Bailey's boot. There's a lot of Suns poking fingers at each other and looking around going, what on earth just happened? Because at least half of them are defending space, and you can't do that in that situation. It's just not good enough, and I have no doubt alongside the centre bounce vision that will also be shown early in the week.
Well, especially he's been super dangerous around those forward stoppage areas tonight, hasn't he? So the message would surely be, to the defenders, would be play tighter on this guy, don't give him any space. But he just had far too much space again.
Matt Primus and Lauren Arnell. Centre bounce Chol with the tap, but rode by Lions of Brisbane. Hands to McCluggage, hands out the back to Fort. Rush kick to half forward for Brisbane. Beyond the pack, it bounces for Danaher. Couldn't pick up. His tap was kicked out of the air by Butterick of the Suns. It ricochets to the boundary line at left half back. Markov took it, got tackled, ran over the boundary line. Ump says throw it in. Ump says throw it in.
Link McCarthy appealing prior to the decision being made. So a throw in across half forward for Brisbane. They're pressing yet again. They're leading by 36 points. At half forward, it's kicked by McCarthy into forward 50. In fact, over the boundary line. It's going to be a free kick to the Gold Coast, 45 metres out from their own goal. It'll be local product Connor Butterick to take it where the 50 intersects with the boundary line at left half back for the Suns. He plays on, looks to go laterally, but the Lions have got that reasonably covered. He comes across, though, takes the chances to Sam Collins. Now a longer kick, shorter centre wing. Pryor over the top of Ballard with the spoil. Roving was McStay. Under pressure, he floats it over the boundary line in the forward pocket, out of bounds on the full. Free kick to Sam Collins in front of Danaher.
Fancy an early crow?
Go for it.
There's only been 3 occasions where a player has kicked 6 goals in a Q clash. That's the most.
Wow.
Bailey's on 5 at the moment as Collins kicks beyond defensive 50 for the Suns. Rode by Corbett, hand pass to Rowell. Hand pass clears the chop, sets Ellis free on right half back. He kicks long towards half forward. Starcevic nudges the drop zone away from Rank and punches it clear. McCluggage roves. Gardner takes on Rowell, gets tackled. And the umpire says no, you had no prior. He took 2 steps into him.
Who are those players, Q? Kicked the 6 goals.
Have to be Lynch.
Lynch won?
No.
Brown?
Lynch has kicked the most goals in Q clashes, I think.
Here comes a clearance on the logo. Sorry, you look up the numbers, Q. It's Rankin. He's turned it over in the middle of the ground. Enter McCarthy. Bust through a couple of tackles. Handball to Rayner. Handball Zorko laterally into the bullseyes to Coleman. In the Danaher direction. 1 against 2. It's spoiled and the Coast are away on the outer side. Oleg Markov, former Tiger, bounce. Long kick inside 50 looking and finding Casbolt. Got away from Harris Andrews, and the extra kilos takes the mark. 25 metres out, sharpish angle to the left. Former Carlton fans and now Gold Coast fans nervous as he faces inboard.
Well, they need to kick this because the game has turned. The Brisbane Lions have had 8 inside 50s to 2, so they're doing what the Suns did in the first half to them, and have been able to hit the scoreboard.
He's got one, he plays on Casbolt, curls it around, he's got a couple. Coaster still alive, 5 goals down. Zane Bojak's on the boundary line.
Oh, look, that's a much needed goal through Levi Casbolt. Second for this term. Can also say, guys, that, or second for this game, I should say, if your name's Charlie, then you're a good chance of kicking 6 in a Q clash. It's Charlie Dixon in 2015 with 6. Also Charlie Cameron in 2019 with 6. And Ash McGrath all the way back in 2011. I'm assuming that's the first game with 6 goals.
Nickname Charlie.
Yeah, round 7, 2011. That amazing game where Jared Brennan won the first Marcus Ashcroft medal and Gold Coast won the first of these Q clashes. By the way, the head-to-head now reads Brisbane 15, Gold Coast 6. And the last 6 in a row for the Lions. And the game needed that. 5 goals to lead to Brisbane. Centre bounce, rucks go at it. No clean tap down. It's on the deck. The Rovers battle. Good tackle from McCluggage to lock it up on Anderson, who couldn't clear the matrix there. We'll see another ball up in the bullseye. Again, Fort and Chol share it. Neal applies a tackle. Ball comes free. Fort picks up. Rush kick to half forward for Brisbane. Intercepted by Ballard of the Suns. He chips it wide to Markov, who takes the grab at left half back. Chips it to Fiorini, who's got a bit of space just forward of half back. Markov runs on. Receives the hand pass on the wing. Has a bounce, draws an opponent. Hand passes somewhat loosely to Rankin, makes good of it. Turns on his right and kicks a 2-on-2. Ball out the back of the pack. Gardner Rose for Brisbane. Under pressure. Hand pass to Adams under pressure, who handed it to Answorth, and he kicks the lines clear. Towards the wing. At the back of the pack, McStay. Watch out. Here's the slingshot. Hand pass to McCarthy. 1 bounce. 2 bounce. The Centurion runs to 70. Kicks deep. Out on the full. Again.
That went further than I think Link McCarthy expected. That was almost a 60-metre kick on the run.
I think he surprised himself.
That was huge.
I think Archie's lungs are like that balloon too. Q after that run and went out in the full. He's going to sit down the goal square for a while.
How good was the chase by Charlie Ballard to keep pace with him, though, as the kick comes out from the Gold Coast? That's a nice mark taken by Burgess. He's at left half back just outside of the arc. He goes down the Nerang River wing. Looking for Casbolt at the back. Harris Andrews nicely roved. It was Burgess. Got it out there to Swallow. Now a kick inside 50. Tracking back Darcy Gardner. Handball to Answorth for Brisbane. He chips it to the top of the goal square. Jackson Pryor tries to measure a kick outside defensive 50. It is delightful to McCluggage. He plays on quickly. Kitty Coleman on the left foot. Has a target in McCarthy. Good spoil there once again from Burgess. It hits the ground. Calamachi. Handball to Darcy Fort, who lopes into another goal and keeps his shoe on. 13-4-82. 6-10-46. Darcy Fort has never, ever missed a shot at goal in his AFL life. 15 goals straight for the big man.
Can I say he's never ever kicked a point?
Thank you. He kicked it out in the full twice last week.
I hope Nathan Burke's listening in tonight. He is very, very adamant. You never handball to a ruckman. And, that was a good finish from Darcy Ford.
What would Nathan Burke know, eh?
He's about my height too, so
I don't know whether he might be sticking around to do the Tassie double. He was down there today, by the way, where Geelong beat North by 60 points. That was 10 goals. This might be. It's 6 goals the diff to Briz,
It's opening up too, isn't it?
Yeah, 17 minutes played third term in Q Clash 22, and the alarm bells are pealing in Stuart Dew's box, coach's box. Clearance here for the Suns, though. Anderson kicks deep. Looking for Casbolt. He's got a couple to beat off. Hands roved by Andrews. Kick smothered, though, by Ainsworth to force a boundary throw-in in the right forward pocket for the Suns.
And the difference then, Q, Anderson out, free, easy inside 50, who just kicked it long, the forward didn't read it, or he didn't read what the forward's doing, and the ball ends up out of bounds, where Brisbane would have kicked a goal from that.
2-on-1 as well against Casbolt. Boundary throw-in, Suns still in attack. Picked up by Rayner, he kicks it into the congestion, doesn't clear it. Rowell bursts through, tried to get a hand pass clear, couldn't. No clearance, and another stoppage deep in the Suns attacking zone. It was Brisbane by 15 points at quarter time, by 23 at half time. They currently lead by 6 goals.
The ball up at the top of the goal square. It's taken by Rayner. He's towed it straight towards the boundary line, beautifully picked up by Bailey. He's hassled off, and a couple of Suns bump into each other. Holman now, it's with Brandon Ellis, 70 metres from goal, top of the goal square. Big fly, Andrews with the punch, front and square was McCluggage, rove beautifully, but he's in. He's kicked it, and it's intercepted by Noah Anderson. The intended target was Link McCarthy on the exit, but Noah Anderson will have a shot 50 out, more or less directly in front.
Luggage just put together a pretty solid 3/4 of footy, but just a little bit too cute there.
9 tackles, Hugh McCluggage, 6 clearances. He's had 19 disposals, but that wasn't his best. Noah Anderson, his 20th disposal with 7 inside 50s. He's only got a point to his name. Let's go from 55. It's going to be short and left, one behind. So it's 13-4-82, 6-11-47. It's now 35 point margin in favour of the Brisbane Lions.
Rich with the inbound. Long to left, half back, but no one there but Connor Butterick for the Suns, who takes an uncontested mark about 70 metres from goal. Good to see him back from a knee injury. He kicks it to full forward. Off the hands of the pack, rode by Ainsworth. Hand pass to Rowell. 40 out, left foot snap. There's a goalkeeper in the goal mouth, and Andrews is there to mark that ball, which didn't have the penetration to clear the line. Andrews chips it short to the taped up Brandon Starcevic. He is right foot kick from the pocket to a pack at half back. Off knuckles, rode by Ellis of Gold Coast. His hand pass wasn't all that great. McCluggage comes in, picks up the ball. He's wrapped up as soon as he's got it. And the umpire says, mine. Ball up, point of the centre square, left half back for Brisbane, right half forward for the Suns.
The big ruckman in McInerney and Witts entangle. It comes into the hands of Swallow, who toes it just inside, attacking 50. Whistle on play immediately from this contest. Looks like Holman infringed against Daniel Rich, who's now using his jumper to wipe whatever away from his face. So he's got a free kick inside defensive 50. Lauren Arnell, you've noticed something there?
Oh, I'm just enjoying the height differential. I think, is it Ballard against McInerney? Is that what we're watching here, boys?
That's a reasonable size difference. As McInerney, the big ruckman, drifts down into the forward line. He's picked up by Charlie Ballard. The Lions with the ball, though, through the corridor. Coleman. Oh, it went through the hands of Markov. They turned it over, so it's a chance for the Suns. Lands in the hands of Casbolt. His handball now to Markov on the logo on the outer side. Nice lead, nice mark taken by Corbett.
Turns immediately, kicks on his right boot, but a 2-on-1 against the leading Holman. And Coleman takes the mark in front of Holman. That's Coleman of Brisbane on return from that pre-season hamstring injury. Chips it short to the man who's played in the most Q Clashes. The Zork, up to Q Clash appearance 19, the former Broadbeach Cat, who got overlooked by the Suns to become a 5-time best and fairest winner for Brisbane. He kicks to the wing, free kick off the back of the pack there as Ballard was taken high. And Charlie Ballard will get the free kick for Gold Coast. 22 minutes third term. It's Brisbane by 37 points. Ballard chips very short to Connor Butterick.
With six and a half minutes to go, Q. It seems to me holding it up isn't the greatest thing the Coast can do at the moment.
Now here's a long kick to half forward. Off the pack, Holman roves in the left half forward flank. He drills it down the throat of the leading Ainsworth. Beautiful pass. And it hit the GC on his chest with Ainsworth hot on his hammer. But Ainsworth took the mark. Oh, I hope they don't play on each other for too long. And the ball doesn't go near him too much.
I was about to say, you were worried about Coleman and Holman.
And of course, Ainsworth and Ainsworth comes up in the same passage of play. Here is Ainsworth of Gold Coast, needing to kick a goal. 2 steps infield, right foot snap from 30. Excellent finish. Just to keep the flame flickering for the Suns. It's Brisbane by 31 points, 23 minutes third term. Lions 13 goals, 482. To the Suns, 7 goals, 11, 53. And Ben Ainsworth kicks his first goal of Q Clash 22.
Good reward for the Suns. They've dominated field position, caused lots of turnovers between the arc, got the ball back inside 50, made some undisciplined or uncharacteristic inside 50 kicks, which have cost them some shots on goals. But that time, a really good crumb from Holman, beautiful kick and a great finish from Ainsworth. So they've wrestled back momentum in field position. Can they wrestle back momentum on the scoreboard?
They just need to get that nourishment, as you said. Get that scoreboard ticking over. The application's been there. The intent has been there. Sometimes just the skill level at the minute as Brisbane win the clearance. Attacked forward inside 50. McStay with a great contest. Brought it to ground. He tracks it all the way back to the arc though. So does Lockie Weller, who picked the ball up, extracted it, got the handball now to Ballard. Off the ground. Just short of centre wing commentary. Tackle! Ben Ainsworth absolutely cut in half. If you're from north of the Murray, think Trevor Gilmeister breaking your ribs over the boundary, and it'll be a throw-in, perfectly legal. Enjoyed that one, Q, from Kitty Coleman.
Gilly, nicknamed the Axe for a reason. There's a bit of cross-code blending. It was a great tackle. Lions with a clearance here for Brisbane. Gave it to Berry. He was nailed as well by Ainsworth. Good tackle. And good to see this intent. And Zork comes in, of course, just to have a gob in the ear of a few of the Suns players. Perhaps this is the flicker that we need from the Suns. Miller tries to rove the tap down and does. Ham passes clear of the congestion for Rankin at half back. Kicks Gold Coast to the wing, marked by Swallow in space. Here's kick, important injection for the Gold Coast here. Great Mark Adams going back with a flight for Brisbane. Read it beautifully, and that's become a real penchant of his game, Lauren Arnell.
Oh, he's just been super at that all year, and now this is the bit, is the kick execution, and has improved greatly.
Long kick in the McInerney direction. Great spoil, which was sharked as Rayner jumped off the bench straight through the gates into his hands. It was extraordinary. He kicked it forward. Ballard cut it off. At ground level, Darcy fought. He's monstered by Lockie Weller, who's all over him. And the ball stuck underneath the pair. Right in front of us in the ABC Sport commentary box. We'll get a ball up. Just forward to centre wing. It's the Lions. And they're leading by 28 points as we get the ball up. Tuke Miller. Nice clearance towards the logo. Holman, his opposite number 7 now. Berry taken high. Will be a free kick.
Just feel the heat that you expect from a Q Clash. We're really starting to see that now in this third quarter. Both teams rising to the occasion.
Jared Berry from the commentary wing. Long kick. McStay off his hands. It's held there by Ballard. He's tackled, ball held to him, 40 from goal, and umpire hugs himself and will ball it up. Another opportunity with a stoppage here inside 50 for Brisbane.
4 minutes of playing time left in this third quarter. Ruckman share it down, but Zorko does the roving, snaps to the goalmouth. Danaher with 2 to beat. Collins punches it away from him. Roved by Markov of the Suns, who's starting to inject himself a bit in this term. Hand pass to Ballard in the pocket. Here's kick to a one-on-one. Richards spoiling away from Ainsworth. Roved by Neil of Brisbane. Chip to Cameron. And Charlie marks as the 23s tangle on 50. Lemons was hot on his hammer, but Cameron marks. And late in the term, this would be a really good finish from Charlie if he could kick the goal from here. I doubt he'd be going for it. And indeed he's not. He sets it up to the pocket, hoping for Danaher, but it was read by Markov, who punched it away out of play.
Free kick.
And he'll get a free kick because Joe whacked him high.
Probably jealous in the moustache department. Now Oleg Markov, the former Tiger, he's actually just lifted his intensity as well. It's late in the third quarter. We've got about 3.5 to play here at Carrara. Love to see the Suns just grinding this one out. As long kick in the Fiorini direction. He found the target right on the boundary line, that left half back, just outside of the arc. Gold Coast with the ball. Long left foot kick is too close to the boundary line, searching for the lead of Corbett. It went over and out of bounds on the full, so it's a turnover. It will be a free kick, Brisbane. It's going back to Lions. Now inside 50, Danaher spoiled by Ballard at ground level, and Ballard butters up. Gathers, kicks shorter centre wing. Gardner for Brisbane. Handball to Rayner, lowers the eyes on the lead. Cameron versus Lemons, and it's been called a high shot, and Lemons did beautifully not to react. I was watching him through the goggles, and he has pulled his hands away from his face very deliberately. Well done, young man. It's been a free kick to a mark to Charlie Cameron and a free kick. 40 from goal, slight angle to the right. There's not a lot in it, really, I've got to say, from the replay. Anyway, Charlie Cameron, he's got his 2 goals straight after half-time. He leans back on this one, strikes it nicely. Charlie's got 3. 14-4-88 Brisbane, 7-11-53 the Gold Coast Suns. It's a 35-point margin, 28.5 gone of the third term. Grandstand AFL, Michael Price and Quentin Hull calling your action. Our experts, Lauren O'Neill and Matty Primus.
Well, the Suns just haven't been able to do a lot with the fight and the scrap that they've provided in this third quarter. I've particularly enjoyed what Ben Ainsworth's been bringing to the contest. Yep. They just haven't been able to generate any reward for effort, and the Lions' efficiency and ability to find a quality scoring shot and maximise on those. 14 goals for Q. I know, having worked the last 3 years with you, I know there's always been that conversation around how accurate the Lions are in front of goal, and tonight it'd have to be one of the better games for them in the last few years.
Yeah, indeed. And Cameron having kicked 3 straight as well. He's been a guy that at times has struggled with the set shot, but that was an excellent finish there. And in the centre bounce, there's going to be a free kick going Gold Coast way against Zorko, who slung Fiorini to the deck.
There's a bit happening ahead of the ball as well. Ainsworth and can't quite see the Suns play. A bit of a tangle inside 450, hasn't been picked up.
Fiorini passes to Ainsworth. He kicks to a pack. Goes to deck. Rich picks up for Brisbane. Hand passes to Neal. Hand pass to the goal square for Gardner, and a nice kick around the boundary line is marked by Cameron, who's now in the back pocket. That's good ground coverage from Charlie Cameron, who kicks out towards the Nerang River wing, and a 2-on-2 fisted to the front of the pack. Roved by Fiorini, rush kick to half forward. Anderson couldn't mark the tumbler, but he comes up with it, hands it back to Fiorini, pressured by Zorko, but got boot to ball, floated to a half forward, which is seen out of play by Adams.
I think we talk a lot tonight around the efficiency inside 50 for the Lions, but I think we need to acknowledge the back 6, back 7 for Brisbane tonight. Just their ability to win contested footy in the air and at ground level, being so clean, and real synergy between that group of players just allows them to set up their play from their back 50.
Throw in across the arc at half forward for the Gold Coast. At ground level, Matt Rowley's just been battling all day. It's picked up by Holman. He's tackled into the ground. The umpire says we'll ball it up.
Well, Loz, you won't get to see the Lions as much in the flesh now. I just think I'd love to know what you think has really improved about them in the last couple of years.
Here's a clearance. A long kick from the Gold Coast towards the goal square. It's through hands. And just another behind. 88 plays 54. It's now 34 points the margin.
And more so just the way that their running patterns and the ball movement has evolved, particularly in the last 18 months or so. And I think even in the last 6 weeks, now that we've got the absence of the Hodge/Birchall role, which is being filled by someone like a Zorko over the last few weeks, and Coleman coming in tonight. Long clearing kick to half-back, rowed by McInerney, who decides to torpedo a punt 70 metres downfield. And it's going to roll out of play. And the umpire says throw it in.
I think there's always been a core group of Lions that have meant they're, top 6, top 4 teams over the last few years. But you look at the development of guys like McCluggage, Berry, Rayner. Charlie Cameron's still young. Noah Ainsworth's come straight back into the team. There's huge development across that young group of players, and then you add Marcus Adams, Joe Danaher, and Darcy Fort this year has been a huge addition. It's just development of players within the program that allows them to continue to play good footy.
Miller Robes the throw in at right half back for the Suns. Rush kick to the wing. Rankin keeps it moving to half forward, and Gardner just says get out of the way to Alex Davies, and sees it over the boundary line.
Brandon Starcevich is probably another I haven't mentioned, but I think from a fitness perspective as well, there's been a couple of big injuries like your Hipwoods and Rayners, but generally they've got a fit squad who's ready to perform on the park consistently.
Throw in right half forward for Brisbane, and it's Rowell at ground level. He misses it. Stuck underneath several umpires, just circling, waiting to make a decision, and that decision was made for him when the ball wasn't coming out at all. Zorko came up with it, and the umpire will throw it up at right half forward for Brisbane. They're leading this one by 34 points as three-quarter time siren sounds. 34 points the margin. 14-4, 88 for the Brisbane Lions. 7-12, 54 the Gold Coast Suns, and that was after the Lions led by 23 points at half-time. They led by 15 points at quarter-time.
So the progression has been steady, and the Lions are on their way to a 7th straight Q Clash victory and a 5-1 record through 6 rounds, ahead of a trip to the SCG to play the Swans next week, while the Gold Coast are going to have to do something pretty special to not avoid their 4th loss of the season. And they go to the MCG next week to take on Collingwood. But we've still got half an hour of footy left here. Repeating that scoreline, Brisbane 14-4, 88 to Gold Coast 7-12, 54. In the late finishing NRL game today, Penrith has joined Newcastle as winners on this Sunday. The Knights earlier beat the Eels the Eels beat the Knights. So I got that around the wrong way. My apologies. Parramatta beat Newcastle 39-2. So Parramatta won and Penrith won. The Panthers 36-6 over the Canberra Raiders. Three-quarter time at Carrara. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday of footy with us on Grandstand AFL.
At the going down of the sun and in the morning.
Wherever you are this Anzac Day, pay your respects to Australia's veterans. Join us as we light up the dawn.
We will remember them.
Tune into our coverage throughout the day across the ABC. Commemorate with us on ABC TV, ABC Radio, and on the ABC Listen app.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season.
Grandstand AFL on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
McStay punches it forward. Rowell again. It came off his shin, but Markov picks it up for the Coast. He's tackled and holding the ball. Charlie Cameron. Nice looking drop punt, and it is through to start the third quarter in the right way for the Brisbane Lions. It's taken on the boundary, kick inside, and it's Casbolt 20 metres out directly in front. Comes in from 25 metres and pops it straight through the middle.
Clearance for Lions of Brisbane. Kicks it into attack, road by McStay. Hand pass to Cameron, and he rolls into the open goal to answer within 20 seconds.
Inside 50 for Brisbane. There's a contest at ground level. Oh, great tap out from Charlie Cameron to Zach Bailey, who curls around his 5th. Handball to Rayner, lowers the eyes on the lead. Cameron versus Lemons, and it's been called a high shot. He's got his 2 goals straight after half time. He leans back on this one, strikes it nicely. Charlie's got 3.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
And combined with Zach Bailey's 5, that is the lion's share of Brisbane's 34-point advantage at three-quarter time. We've got 30 minutes left in this one, and then the majority of you heading to the MCG. For Richmond up against Melbourne, it has become one of the absolute highlight games in the home and away fixture. Corbin Middlemass to set the scene.
Q, it's a cool night in Melbourne, 16 degrees, but it is getting down to 8 overnight. The floodlights are on at the moment, and the Melbourne players are out there conducting their preliminary warm-up. It is the 7th Anzac Day Eve clash. There was only a break in 2020, of course, during the pandemic, but it's become an annual event since 2015, and the two teams are split 3-3. To put it into some context in terms of the competition at the moment, of course, it feels like we're coming out of the Richmond era and the dynasty that they've had, winning 3 premierships in 4 years, and very much into the Melbourne era. Of course, they're reigning premiers, and they've now won their past 12 games, trying to make it 13 tonight. Richmond buoyed yesterday by the return of Dustin Martin, returning to Punt Road. He's obviously not playing tonight, but he is back around the group, so will that give Richmond a bit of a fillip coming into this evening's fixture? We're still a couple of minutes away from final teams, but it's always a tremendous night here on the eve of Anzac Day, with the cauldron to be lit. Of course, the light horse regiment, which makes its way around the perimeter of the Melbourne Cricket Ground before lighting the cauldron at the city end. So that's all ahead of us tonight. Brett Delidio, Mark Murphy, Matt Clench, Lauren Borden and myself to bring it to you on Grandstand AFL.
Good on you, Corby. Look forward to your company as I listen in while driving back up the M1 tonight. Lauren Arnell and Matthew Primus. We hit the final change of Q Clash 22. How has Brisbane established this game-winning 34-point break?
For me, it's just purely class and quality and time playing with each other. They've all the numbers we could go through, they're either even or the Suns are in front. But whenever they get the ball, their inside 50 decision making is a lot better. Their ability to win contests or halve them in their forward 50 are better. I think we spoke about in that quarter there, the defenders certainly have got on top and made life harder. They've read the ball really well and first to react. So just experience, class and a bit of depth in their quality is why they're up by their 5-6 goals. The Suns are trying hard, but you can just see as the game goes on and the quarters go on how hard work it is for the Gold Coast to get inside 50s and scores. And when Brisbane's turn it on for 5 or 10 minutes, they're able to just put that gap back in them again. So a big last quarter. Can the Suns keep working their way through it, head down, keep trying to play the way they have for long periods of this game, or will they fall apart a little bit and get disenchanted with how the scoreboard's going against them?
The Lions just seem to be running over the top of them as well. It seems to be an edge in fitness. Often when the Suns go inside 50, it's rarely to a one-on-one. It's usually extra numbers for the Lions. So Suns up against it in this last quarter.
As we start with the big men, Witts versus McInerney. It goes down to Tuke Miller, the two-time Marcus Ashcroft medalist, to the top of the 50. Bounces off the chest of Chol, turned over. Brisbane have it through Kadeem Coleman. Standing start, left-footer to the logo on the outer side. Off the hands, beautiful hands of Adams, and it went straight through the Lions. Now they've turned it over. Powell for the Gold Coast. Tries to measure a right foot pass. Did beautifully to Anderson, who did well in the contest against Daniel Rich, but neither took the ball. It's loose. Harris Andrews did the don't argue to Nick Holman and got the handball backwards, and now they're onto the logo with Link McCarthy for Brisbane. Sleep day, short pass from Lions. McCarthy from halfway, kicks to half forward. That was too high for Bailey and well read by Ballard, who marks for the Suns. He mishits his kick, but he does find the chest of Miller, who runs away from right half back, takes a bounce and then slews a kick to centre half forward, which is well read and met by Ainsworth. Cleanly gathered, hand pass to Holman, kick to Casbolt, and Levi clunks it. 30 metres out, slightly left of centre.
Really, really good kick to Casbolt's advantage, and we know one thing Levi can certainly do is take a mark. And now if he puts it through the big sticks, guys, we might be able to generate some excitement about this result.
In or out, Loz? Come on, make a call for big Levi
I think
here.
He can absolutely kick it. I worked at Princess Park for a little while for AFL Victoria and watched him practice these over a lot of lunchtimes.
Not quite the Earl Spalding kicking school, but he's an improved set shot kick. Levi has got 3 straight tonight. Well, maybe.
Well done.
28 points the diff. Time enough, that's for sure. There's some of that nourishment. 1 entry, 1 goal. It's still now, 30 scoring shots to 28 in favour of the Suns, but Brisbane still leading by 28 points at 14-4-88 to 12-8-60. So, sorry, 20 scoring shots to 18. Yeah, Suns have had 2 more, but trail by 28 points.
I think without being too simplistic as well, like the Suns being able to cause a turnover through the middle of the ground and moving the ball quickly allows Casbolt to jump one-on-one against Jared Berry. And so, yeah, I think for them to actually have a sniff in this game, they're going to have to create those turnovers and get it inside 50 nice and quick.
Well, Matt Rao's not going to die wondering. That is his 10th clearance off the hands of Jared Witts, but it was beautifully sharked by Daniel Rich at the top of the arc at traditional centre half back. Now he kicks it basically traditional left half forward. That's a beautiful left foot kick. Comes off hands, and it's a nice mark taken by the 100 gamer in Link McCarthy just to follow up Daniel Rich's kick. He goes back now. Another long one into the pocket Danaher was the flyer with McStay at the back. Front and square, Archie. Handball back to Lockneil. Whistle on play, advantage paid. Neil walks into the goals and kicks it through.
That's cheeky.
It's not a lot of advantage in that, but the Lions absolutely adore it. Lockie Neal gets off the chain. Their 16th goal, 15th, 15-4-94, plays 8-12-60, and is now back to 34 points after 3.5 of the final term. Matty Primus, Lauren Arnell.
That's what they've been able to do all night. When the Suns get a bit of momentum going their way, they quickly rest it back and get an easy, simple goal.
I've just checked. There has not been consecutive goals kicked all night for Gold Coast.
That's been their problem.
All night.
Isn't it? They get momentum with field position, but they can't get consecutive goals, Q, and that's why that's what the good teams do. They absorb, and then get consecutive goals. The Suns haven't been good enough to do that.
Final attendance, by the way, is 14,897. 14,897 here at Q Clash 22. So Brisbane back out by 34 points. Centre bounce. Rowell with another extrication. Hand pass to Swallow. Kick to half forward. Gardner pushed off it. No free kick. Holman gets a hand pass clear, but straight to opposite 7, Berry. Holman tackles him. Hands came clear. Won by Rich. Indiscriminate kick picked up by Swallow of the Suns. Rush ball inside 50 off the left. Smothered ball there from Ainsworth's boot. It was Pryor's boot. Stays in attack for the Suns. Ainsworth picks up. Hand passes to Miller. Must kick. Does kick. The goal from 30 metres out. Tick-tack-tock. One to the Suns, one to the Lions, another to the Suns. 28 the diff.
That's probably one of the first times tonight, Matt, that you feel like there's more numbers around the footy for the Suns.
Yep.
Like often you see that work rate just looks like the Lions have been able to get more numbers around the contest, but certainly once that ball popped out, there was probably 3 Suns potentially that could have had a shot at goal.
You're right. The first time they looked like there was an outnumber at the contest and the next contest. So now the challenge is for the Suns. Can they win this centre bounce, or at least don't make sure Brisbane don't win it and halve one? And can they get another goal to make it 2 consecutive goals?
They're dominating the clearances, Gold Coast 43-36, but in the centre bounces it's 13-12 in their favour, so very even. But Jared Lyons, 6 centre bounce clearances on his own, with Rowell the nearest with 5. McInerney versus Witts. Let's call it a draw. The ball stuck under the big men. Going in and getting it, Jared Lyons with his 10th clearance, kicks it towards centre half forward. It's picked up by Miller, injecting himself into the game importantly for the Coast, dribbling it out towards the outer wing, tracking it there. Starcevic burns them off as well after he gathered it. Searing pass wasn't able to be collected over the boundary line, what was being called deliberately by several, but it'll be a throw in on the outer side, just forward to centre wing for the Brisbane Lions, leading by 28 points.
Deliberate as they come.
Where's the feel for the game, Matthew?
Yes, no consistency.
Did I say several?
Ball thrown in. Witts tapped down to Rowell. Hand pass out the back to Fiorini. Clearance Suns. From half-back, kick to the wing and a pack. Rode by Starcevic of Brisbane. Hand pass to Gardner. Kicked back to attacking 50 for the Lions, and well-worked Burgess, who nudged McStay under the flight to take a fine defender's mark. Burgess' chip is not 15. Lemon's mark played on, then got tackled by Cameron holding the ball. Advantage taken by Brisbane. McCluggage kicks to Bailey. He will kick a Q Clash equal record 6th goal. And he's $1.05 for the Choppers. Zach Bailey kicks his 6th, should I say. I am running out of space in my little goals column. He's been amazing. That's 16-4-100 to 9-12-66.
And that's Brisbane at their best. A turnover in their front half, and they just make you pay off a turnover. Their forwards react so quickly. Lemon's trying to make some things up, but unfortunately his awareness wasn't great. An easy turnover just outside their forward 50, and bang. Brisbane stopped. The Suns been able to kick consecutive goals again, Q.
The question for the Suns now is, do you let this blow out, or do you actually offer a contest for the remainder of the game? There's still a good 15-16 minutes left in this game.
Well, put your coaching hat on, Loz. What are you expecting as a coach from here?
I think we'll let you call the centre bounce first.
All right, let you think about it. There's a free kick and advantage. Jared Lyons, disposal number 24, top of the square, over the back of the square, dribbling through. Have a go at that. He's kicked it from inside the centre square. I'm sure he didn't mean it. 17 goals to Brisbane, 17-4-106, plays 9-12-66. All of a sudden, it's 40 points, 8 minutes gone, final turn.
Those odds short now.
Jared Lyons is having a little challenge at Zach Bailey at this point, I think.
Look out, Q.
Fair to give Jared Lyons 24 disposals, 11 clearances, 8 centre-bounce clearances, 11 inside 50s and 7 tackles. Thanks very much.
The timely little reminder that he was previously at this location.
He doesn't mind putting that back in the Gold Coast face too, by the way, as 2 Choppers medals last year would attest to.
Those not aware of the local language, Choppers, the nickname of well-known 300-game Brisbane Lion and former footy manager at the Suns, Marcus Ashcroft, who the best on-ground medal is named after in this clash. Centre bounce, and Anderson roves the pack for Gold Coast, gets them towards half-forward, a battle between Davies and Gardner, and Davies kicked it out on the full, accidentally. Well, no one ever really deliberately does it, but he was trying to tow it away. Having a chuckle, Pricey, it's got to that point, hasn't it? It's a bit loose. And the Lions just doing as they please, so it seems. Gardner on the inbound finds Answorth. Sour note, though, a hint of the Carrara curse has stuck around for the Lions. They pick up injuries at this venue. Kyle Lohman, the latest to succumb, going off with an ankle injury today. After we had, Hipwood with the knee last year, Gardner with the shoulder last year, and Rayner with the knee, all at this venue last year. Dan Rich many years ago did a knee in the Q Clash. That's why the Lions get a bit nervy about playing at Carrara here. Jared Berry's got it at left half back for Brisbane. Kick to a pack. Archie Rose, but his hand pass is stolen by Swallow. Kick into the chop, doesn't clear the congestion. 50-50 to be won. Miller's over it. Lyons is over him. Spews out Bailey's way. Had it, lost it under the pressure of Butterick. Weller somehow spewed it with a hand pass to Anderson. Took him on. That's holding the ball. Charlie Cameron nailed him. Great tackle, 55 out. Cameron bounces up. Kicks to Neil in the pocket. He stretches, he slides, he marks.
You talk about the development of this Brisbane Lions team. I don't think any of us would have expected Lachie Neale to burst that fast forward to create something ahead of play, and that's another element in Lions and Neale spending more time in the forward line this year and kicking goals for themselves.
How's this night looking? Relatively dormant by his standards. Just the 16 possessions. But he's had a pretty good clamp put on him. And can he make it pay on the scoreboard here? Hits the post, flush, near side. Half up, right in the middle. Poster. Brisbane 17-5, 107 to Gold Coast 9-12-66. And that point reiterated, Lauren, 17-5. It has been a very efficient scoring performance from Brisbane.
Weller, the recipient of the ball for the Gold Coast in the left back pocket. Not a lot of movement now. He's going to take the game on, play on, go laterally. Goes into the other pocket. Finds Charlie Ballard. Now Weller, a lot of running. Goes past Ballard. Chips it forward to find Ellis. He's kept running, did Weller. Now Ellis is going to go into the corridor and turn it over. Coleman versus Miller. Coleman did beautifully in the air and at ground level to get the ball away, but Noah Anderson comes in, sharks it, dribbles it down the corridor. Darcy Fort, the big man, did well. Got the handball out to Berry, back to Answorth. On a standing start, he kicks it towards the big ruckman McInerney. Now Lemons burns him off, kicks it beautifully towards Ainsworth in right half forward. Had the ball smacked out of his hands. Crowd wanted a free kick. He goes to the centre square. Now Took Miller looking for an option. He had a man by himself, went for the lead in Holman, which was spoiled. Now the Lions with a chance to get rid of it. Lyons gets it outside defensive 50. Here's a contest.
Charlie Cameron decides to tow it in front of himself. He's got 2 to beat. He does beat them. He's got his hands to it. Flinged it to Neale. Wasn't really a handball, but the ump said that's okay. Neale hands it to Pryor. Kicks around his body to Zorko. Zorko is jumped on by Butterick. And, Zork goes again to just push Markov off the ball. Butterick is then contacted high by Bailey for a kick.
Sorry, that was like a kid in kindergarten who just got frustrated with another kid and just pushed him over. Simple as that. It was just very funny.
Lauren's shaking. It's not good radio to shake your head. It's great for us, Loz.
Is that a push? I don't know.
It's a shunt.
We were allowed to... I don't know, it wasn't high, was it? He nudged him off the ball. Markov chips in field to Swallow. Swallow back to full back for Weller. What is this achieving when you're 41 points down.
Go forward, young man.
Weller decides to kick it to right half back. And where's this is the former coach and the present coach. I'd love to hear about this. The football instinct. I know they're trying to move it, and they have done well here. We'll go with the play. Davies to Chol. Chol out wide for Markov. It is working, it must be said. Markov, 50 from goal. Right boot, good strike. Forget that building argument. They kicked a goal from the chain from fullback. Oleg Markov with a beautiful kick. His first goal of the season. 35 points to lead to Brisbane at 75-107 to 10-12-72. Zane on the boundary.
Yeah, don't feel bad, Q. I'm still backtracking from my 13-1 comment just after half-time.
Well, that's what I want to ask the soon-to-be coach of Port Adelaide and the former coach of Port Adelaide. Who's responsible for the style of play according to the scoreboard? When Gold Coast are trailing by 40 points, I mean, have they that looked like a progression of minimising damage, not attacking with hope?
I thought Brizzy were trying to shut them down pretty well, and then they were waiting for somebody to be loose in team defence, and they were able to find it out and then march the ball down 50. They need to try and be a bit more exciting with ball in hand rather than play long down the line, because they're not going to kick enough score by doing that.
Here's a clearance for Noah Anderson, but once again Darcy fought the big ruckman, came through and spoiled it, went back into the... Oh, what a fly! Absolute cracking fly there from Link McCarthy. Almost got a nosebleed. The ball spilled. It hit the ground. And it will be Collins with a free kick just in front of the goal square. Goodness me, Link McCarthy got high.
He likes a milestone leap, Link. Remember game 50 against Geelong at the Gabba?
Leaping Link McCarthy. You can never forget it.
Back in 2019, here is Ainsworth from the wing down the line. Rich balls away from Fiorini out of play.
You can see... Just to go back to what you're asking before, Q, you can see the Suns are trying to shift the ball a bit and make those defenders move. And the Lions are very good at positioning defenders in front of the footy. So as it progresses, if it progresses slowly, the Lions usually create an outnumber in their defensive 50. And the Suns really just have to try and open up the game and create more run on the far side of the ground.
Lauren Arnell on grandstand AFL from the throw-in right half forward for the Suns. There's going to be a free kick going Brisbane's way. And it's McCarthy, who, for those that can't remember, took a huge leap and mark late on against Geelong in that game when Brisbane came from nowhere to make the top four that year. McCarthy kicks it across the half-back line to Marcus Adams, and of course the poignancy of that was that McCarthy had so many injuries and was essentially let go, traded out of Geelong because they didn't think he could get him fit, and Brisbane got him fit, and here he is playing his 100th game in Lions colours as they can't get it beyond half-back here. Coleman tackled over the line by Fiorini for a throw-in.
29 games in 7 years with Geelong, and he's almost the poster boy for the Brisbane Lions medical department, isn't he?
Yep.
The throw-in. Now it's Darcy Fort versus Mab Chol. Fort, beautiful tap down right into the path of Ainsworth, who's tackled into the ground. And it's a free kick to the Gold Coast. It'll go to Noah Anderson, top of the square. Going backwards with it is Harris Andrews. Gets tackled by Ainsworth. And the ball's going through for a rush behind. 10-13-73, 17-5-107. The Lions by 34 points.
It's better from the Suns. You can see they're not going within themselves. They're still trying to generate faster footy and create scoring opportunities. Might be a little bit too late, but at least they're still having a crack.
Execution has been the story of the day, hasn't it?
Yep.
17-5 to 10-13. Rich chips in to Gardner. Takes the mark. Takes his time. Darcy Gardner. Remember, he got a kick after he did his shoulder and was coming from the field here last year?
And he tried to tow it off the ground.
On his way to the interchange. The ball came in his wheelhouse and he's still got a stat while being injured. He's given it back to Rich. Rich from half-back drills a pass to McCarthy, who marks on the gold line of his chest, leading out on the Nerang River wing. He kicks it down the line, pitches in front of Danaher, who's had a quiet day, goes beyond him. Collins is there to see it out of play. What are Joe's stats? What's he done today? The Joe Show reads 6 disposals, 1 goal.
Wasn't a cracking goal, though. It took him about a millisecond to get from hand to boot.
He's been asleep for since the first 2 minutes of the game.
I was about to say, it was a minute and a half into the game, but it's been a cracking battle between he and Sam Collins there as well. Oh, kick towards the Outer wing logo. What a cracking contest between two players there, Burgess and Answorth. And boy, both have got up, but the ball spilled over the boundary line over the outer side. We'll get a throw in. Good physical, hard contest between two players committed to the cause. And the crowd buzzing, even though their Suns are 34 points down. Still a physical contest here. Darcy Fort versus Mab Chol in the ruck on the outer side. Once again, Ellis gets involved, but just toes it straight up in the air. Kadeem Coleman through his hands. At ground level, Ainsworth, and there it had to happen, versus Answorth. It spills forward. Now Ellis picks it up. Handball to nobody in particular. It's at left half back. Fort, handball now to Daniel Rich, standing start left footer to the wing. Neil on hands and knees, handball to Zach Bailey, 6 goals to his name, chips it into the corridor. McCarthy, now it's opening up. The handball to the run of Berry. Berry now, the one-on-one, Collins v Danaher, and it's called as a kick downfield. So against Charlie Ballard, who interfered with Berry as he kicked it. Lauren Arnell, you saw that one.
Oh, there was certainly a bit of interference there. I think Jared Berry made sure that the umpire saw it. And clever, really, like that long kick in front of goal, 25, 30 metres out. That's the entry the Lions have used all night long, and again, to their benefit.
So Joe Danaher, he'll have to kick this one from about 30 metres. A slight angle to the right. Perfect side for a left footer. Comes in, drills his second. The Lions are home at Carrara. 18-5, 1-1-3, plays 10-13-73. 40 points the margin, 19.5 gone in the final term. Grandstand AFL. Matty Primus and Lauren Arnell, your experts.
He's come awake, Pricey. Come awake early, kick the first goal, and he's come awake towards the end there to kick the second. But there's lots of numbers around the ball. The Suns are putting a huge amount of numbers around the ball, which is a bit weird when you're trying to get the scoreboard ticking over. You think we're trying to lengthen the field, and I think that's going to suit Brizzy. More contest, and then they'll lose their opponents, and a couple of nice handball chains, and once again, efficient going inside 50.
Touch wood. I mean, the narrative of this Brisbane season was as such beforehand and has now been confirmed in my mind after 6 rounds. They're going to get to a position on the grid. It's what they do when the real flag goes down now. But they've got 4 weeks at the back end of the year to prove that they're better, because I think they're going to get themselves to the spot, Matty. Unless they have some bad injuries.
Bad injuries, and we'll let the play go on, and we'll discuss that a bit in a minute.
Here is Weller at half back for Gold Coast. Tackled, got a hand pass to Markov. His hand pass to Swallow. He got it out to Lemons, who's going to run off the defensive point of the square, almost run down by McCluggage, but got a kick to Casbolt. 1, 2, couldn't mark. Under pressure from Adams. Brisbane there in number, picked up by Pryor, who was subbed in for the ankle injury of Lohman. Hand passes to Starcevic, kick to the edge of the centre square. McStay couldn't mark. Starcevic followed up, wins the footy. Hand pass is taken by Rayner. He gives it to Rich. Rich runs through the bullseye. Low bullet to an empty forward line of Lions and no Suns defenders, and McCarthy marks 40 metres out. Oh, it's a late milestone kick at goal for Link McCarthy.
I think ordinarily 2 Lions ahead of him, running in towards open goal, and Charlie Cameron stood there and said, "No, mate, you have your shot, you've earned it."
And not quite that set shot late in the final term on that Saturday afternoon in 2019 against Geelong in his 50th game. But this is his milestone 100th, Link McCarthy. What a favourite he's become at the Gabba. Here he is at Carrara, 45 out. Raise the bat, Link, with a major. And they get around him, and why not? Game at 100 for leaping number 11. And he kicks a Q Clash goal to celebrate. And the lead to Brisbane is now 46 points at 19-5, 119 to 10-13-73.
Just a guy that's just so great for everyone else around the football club. I think it's well known that he and Link McCarthy go a fair way back as pretty close friends. Lockie Neal go a fair way back. But Link McCarthy, just a really great person. Selfless, very, very selfless role within this Lions team. And because of his capabilities, his talent and his skill that's, I think, really underrated. Well, he still gets opportunities to capitalise on the scoreboard.
To be fair, it was during that period where the Lions were losing players, and they thought, we've got to bring mates. That's when they got the Ballarat crew of Berry and McCluggage, and they thought, if we're going to get Neil, we need something else to lure him here. And they gave McCarthy a chance as a part of that.
Jared Lyons with another clearance, gets it inside 50 for Brisbane. They're not finished yet. Charlie Ballard, he's tackled off the ball. Now they're partying with it. Charlie Cameron tackled without it. Gets the handball back. Now it's cut off by Lockie Weller for the Gold Coast. Inexplicable handball towards Markov. He's turned it over. Now it's hacked forward. Chance for the Coast to get out. Lemons, it was actually Swallow, just kicks it to a one-on-one. Starcevic versus Corbett at centre-half forward, running forward. Now the umpire's he's called a free kick. It was towed forward for the Gold Coast. I thought they were going to get a chance via Rankin, but it's going to come back to Starcevic. He was held back in that contest by Corbett. Thought it was a bit of a 50-50 work there, but Starcevic will get the free kick in the centre-half back position on the edge of the centre square. He's very happy to go left and find Harris Andrews, who wants to soak up a few seconds as well. Goes outside a defensive 50 to left half back, and Daniel Rich has it, and he's just sauntering back and directing traffic as the Lions set up in front of him.
Rich rolls off left half back and kicks a long ball towards the wing, and
a block off play. It was Neil who got taken off it by Tuke Miller. There was the umpire behind play who called it.
Thank you, Michael. Neil kicks to Danaher, protected the drop zone. Collins was providing good body, but those arms were just too strong and too long from Big Joe. We're not going to have much time to dissect a few other things because this game's running long. But, yeah, not trying to put the cart before the horse. This is a Brisbane team that I think, as we were saying, they've proven that unless there's a horrible run of form or a horrible run of injuries, they're going to get themselves to the point where their season is decided in the last 4 weeks and not in the 22 or 3 preceding. Here is Danaher on his left boot. He's just scored. A point to the near side.
And for me, Q, the question mark I have on Brisbane, those deep games in the finals, the second semis, the prelims, for me it's their forward 6. They go missing. It's not always going to be nice ball. So Danaher, Cameron, those types, are they just going to fight and scrap for ball and get enough ball in, because you don't have easy flowing ball over the back or nice ones on the lead. And I reckon those guys or that group have gone missing a bit in the heavy finals. Their midfield's good, their backs are really good, and so far looks like I reckon they've fixed that up early in this season here, but the question mark for me is on that group there in the finals.
Ball on the outer side, Gold Coast going forward to half forward. Rao tackled off it, and now Starcevic emerges from that pack with the ball, has a bounce, gets to the wing, chips it inside 50. It's going to be a big fly at the back. Charlie Cameron's got the run. Can he pick it up? Collins on his hammer. Charlie dribbles it through. He gets his 4th. The Lions with their 21st goal, 21-6, 126, plays 10-13-73. And 26 gone, final term. Sorry, Zane Bojak's on the boundary, Q.
Yeah, well, look, guys, while we're doing this analysis, we talked about McCarthy's milestone game for 100. Tonight is actually the 89th game for Stuart Dew. He's the longest term as a coach here at the Gold Coast. Now, given they're now 2-4, a lot of pressure is going to come onto him, isn't it? Because once again, they're irrelevant in a Q clash, and they've started the year poorly despite beating Carlton here a couple of weeks ago in West Coast in round 1.
And just, Liz, I was listening to you and Corby earlier today. Yep. We might have listeners going off saying, what, you're talking about finals 5-1? That stat that we talked about, Freo. You know, what was it? 5-1 gets into the finals, 38 out of 42 or something? Yeah. Since 2010 type of thing. So, yeah, we are being a little presumptuous. But the contest's gone, and we're trying to add a little bit more analysis for you, particularly because it's Lauren's last game with us.
I think the conversation on our Sunday Grandstand show earlier today was more around if you can bank 5 wins early, like in that first 5 or 6, 7 rounds, there's a very, very high chance of making finals. And I can't remember the exact numbers that were thrown around, but yeah, it's pretty much Corby was saying there might only be 2 spots up for grabs in what's currently the 8, and again, pending any major injury.
Yep. And I think on the narrative of Brisbane's season, it will be, what does Hipwood add when he comes back? And he's only a month or so away, if that. Ainsworth with an inside 50 here for Gold Coast. Can they get a late one? Miller hand passes to Anderson. High kick. Well, Chol's got the field to beat. Oh, Andrews knuckled it straight down to Holman. He has a snap and kicks a third.
Oh, well.
Well rode by Nick Holman. The bugle sounds a little forlorn with the margin at 47 points. 20 goals, 6, 126 to Gold Coast's 11-13, 79. And when does valiant become not enough? When does bad kicking become bad football? These are the questions of Gold Coast today.
Yeah, there hasn't been any injuries to the Suns tonight, has there?
No.
Because the Lions have been playing one down since the first quarter.
Yep.
Like, yes, we're acknowledging...
but the late outs were Rosas and Farah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
But we are acknowledging how good the Lions are, and I think to Zane's point earlier, the teams that the Suns have currently lost to, outside of the Giants, D's, Saints and Lions are top 4 teams, and so I think you give them time, but being one down and being beaten by this much is a concern.
So it's the Suns with another clearance. Oh dear, he's been pinged for holding the ball though. Young Alex Davies was tackled into the ground by Jared Lyons. It'll be a free kick to Jared. Goes to the outer side to the logo, and they've done it to us.
What?
Noah Ainsworth standing the mark. Ben Ainsworth on the logo. Sense of humour between the two coaching staffs. Goes to the logo now. On top of the arc, and it's fisted away by Ballard over next to the boundary line. Towed off there, and Ainsworth beats Ainsworth over the boundary line for another throw-in.
Other way around. It was Ainsworth who beat Ainsworth.
It just depends on your perspective on which one.
What are we? 29 and a half into Q Clash 22 in the final term, and the Lions have got this sealed up. Stick around though on Grandstand AFL, of course, the Richmond-Melbourne game coming up, which should be an absolute cracker, let alone the scene, just the stakes. The dynasty of past, perhaps against the emerging dynasty, as Corby set it up for us. Out in the wing, it's picked up by Ainsworth, Brisbane. Kicked forward, marked by Butterick, Gold Coast, at right half back.
So a fair bit of the sting gone out of it now as Butterick goes back into the corridor. Anderson juggled it in front of the big man, McInerney. Ends up taking the mark, goes laterally back inside defensive 50 to Charlie Ballard. Oh, that's a mongrel from Ballard. He's turned it over. The 223s, Lemons versus Charlie Cameron. Cameron deftly taps it back into Joe, who lopes in and bangs through another one. Joe Danaher. He's got his third, and the Lions now 132 versus the Suns 79. We're talking a 53-point margin here in a game we thought was reasonably close. Late in the final term here at Carrara on ABC Sport, Lauren Arnell.
And you just feel like while Joe's contributed to the team, Sam Collins had played a reasonable game for probably 3 quarters, and Joe's just got off the leash a little bit in this last little bit and kicked 2 goals that have come quite easily to him in the last quarter. But I think Collins overall has done okay tonight for his team, and against one of the most informed forwards in the competition. He'd be pretty dirty at this point now that Joe's got 3.
Oh, he's a competitor. He'd be very, very dirty downstairs.
Our network junction doesn't need another goal. There's a minute left, and we've got 4 minutes before we've got to go to the G. There have been a lot of goals in this one. 21-6 to 11-13. Clearance here for Brisbane out the back. Rich with a hand pass to Neal, who chips it to the middle of the ground on the head of Rayner. Spoiled away by Weller, picked up by Lyons of Brisbane. Kicks to half forward. Ballard intercepts and marks in front of Bailey. So Charlie Ballard's got the ball for the Suns. He kicks it to half back to Miller. Millihan passes to a man running through the bullseye in Holman. Gave it to Davies. Gets it. No, that was Anderson. He gets it back. Kicks to Child. It falls short. He couldn't mark under the late arriving pressure of Adams. Andrews picks up at the back. Ham passes to Gardner of Brisbane. Slewed clearance. Drops straight into the lap of Brandon Ellis. And I fancy his set shot on goal is going to be the last action of Q Clash 22. With the timepiece ticking down, and the Lions are going to record a 7th straight victory over their near rivals, and rival is a loose term in the Q Clash at the moment. Brisbane will be 5-1 and is now 5-1. with the siren sounding, and Gold Coast 2 and 4, it's a matter of margin. It stands at 53 in favour of Brisbane. Ellis can narrow it with this kick from 40 post siren, and he misses near side for a point. And the full-time score reads Brisbane 21-6, 132 to Gold Coast 11-14, 80. The Lions are 5-1, having thumped the Suns by 52 points.
We are the pride of Brisbane town. We wear the roll, blue and gold. We will always fight for victory, like Fitzroy and Bears are of old. All for one and one for all. We will answer to the call. Go Lions, Brisbane Lions, we'll kick the winning score. You'll hear a mighty roar.
It was 15 points at quarter time, 23 points at half time, 34 points at three-quarter time, and 52 in the end. Brisbane 21-6, 132 to Gold Coast's 11-14, 80. No disrespect, Lions fans, but it's a song that's been in the charts for a while, so we're going to fade down the second verse today because you've been singing it regularly, only due to our network commitments to get to the MCG. We've got 90 seconds to get the votes and say a heart-warm thanks and good luck to Lauren Arnell, who's still going to be on our radio, but in this part of the world, Loz, we've had a pandemic, we've had a grand final, you've become a premiership player, you've married. It's been a pretty eventful time up here. Thank you and good luck.
No, it's been wonderful working with you all.
Yes.
So yeah, thank you to everyone involved. It's been unreal.
Now, when we chat to her, mate, now she's a coach. We don't want any of this coach speak to you. When we have those interviews, mate.
Says you.
Hey, we've got the Marcus Ashcroft medal to be awarded. We need your 3, 2 and 1 before we get to the MCG. You've got 50 seconds.
A joint effort. One vote, we thought Harris Andrews really, like that whole backline group were exceptional, and Harris led the way. 2 votes, Jared Lyons. Probably on any other day he gets the 3.
Yep.
And pretty easy option for us, 3 votes, Zach Bailey.
Zach Bailey. Now, Pricey, you've seen something
just Kai Loman, the young man who was subbed out in the second quarter. Now, he has got crutches and the moon boot going, and a lot of concern from his teammates on the wing there.
So the Carrara curse strikes again for Brisbane, having picked up some key injuries here over the years. We'll pass the details of the Marcus Ashcroft medal down the line. Corby and the team will no doubt tell you about that when it comes through. On for another few minutes for our local audience, but across the country, that's it for Q Clash 22. Let's head to the MCG for the time.